The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Give State Cancer Center fund early detection, testing, and life-saving support right here in our province. Let's keep it in Alberta for our fathers, brothers, husbands, and friends. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to start your men's health fundraiser or donate today. Together, we can look after the men in our community.
We're going to championship in the Super Bowl today. There's a 2nd and 10.
And control your future.
By Tolbert. How about that throw? What a throw.
Center to meet with the hottest franchises. Get valuable advice at free seminars and learn how you can open a successful business. This is your only chance to see all your best money-making opportunities in one place. Find the perfect business for you at Edmonton's only franchise show. Presented by Quick Bite. November 15th and 16th. Edmonton Expo Center. Get tickets at edmontonfranchiseshow.com.
What a comeback goal. Waiting, dishing
for more than a
ton. Latches around the auto. 42.
To Edmonton's only sports radio station, Sports 1440.
Got Draisaitl and Boucher. That goal. Waiting, dish.
The Jason Gregor Show. On Sports 1440.
There's a 2nd and 10. As the ball's headed to the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown by Tolbert. Wow, how about that throw? What a throw.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
McDavid fell down to one knee, able to regain. He's got Draisaitl and Bouchard out with him. Draisaitl flashes around the auto. Bouchard stayed with it. Edmonton wins it. 3-2.
Well, a magnificent Monday. Maybe we should call it a morning Monday. Oh, my goodness. What a tough series loss for the Toronto Blue Jays. Brutal. God, they had so many chances. They were right there with them. Could easily won that series. Oh, tough, man. That's where sports, the euphoria and the devastation, the fine line between both. I'm trying to think anything else where it's that fine of a line that's just that one side where you can go from utter jubilation, like the rest of your life. You're a Dodger player. You'll never forget that ever. And you're a Jays player. Like all you'll ever remember is losing despite a great run. Everything was great. The city's going great. People are watching. Like there's fans in the US that were cheering for them that never cheered for them before. And then suddenly unable to get that run. And if I look back at that game, man, early in the game when they let that, what were they, 3 for 17 with runners in scoring position throughout the game. That's what cost them. And they were a good offensive team all year long and just unable to extend their lead early. And hey, give the Dodgers credit. They didn't go away. A solo shot in the 8th, solo shot in the 9th, obviously then the solo shot to win the game. And yeah, that was a tough pill, man. That was a tough pill to swallow. Welcome. It is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. As always, it's brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. So get in the game. The Oilers, you always get odds boost on Oiler game days. They are on the road tonight in St. Louis, taking on the Blues, who are winless in 7. Well, they've lost 7 in a row, but to get some loser points, they're 0-5-2 in their last 7 games. And they do get Robert Thomas back, their number 1 center, although he hasn't played like a number 1 center this year. He only had 3 points in his first 8 games. So they will hope to keep the agony going for the St. Louis Blues. We'll find out. We'll get to the lineups in a second. We'll update you on who is coming up on the show today. Andy Strickland will be by talking St. Louis Blues. We got Dave Naylor, Mike Wilner. We'll recap the Jays. I know you don't want to, but it's also free agency in 3 days, man. Like, things are moving fast. We got Kevin Woodley for Mingo Magazine. We also have 5 questions that we'll do. We got Spec and much, much more. So busy show. Sean Brown, of course, will be by in studio. 2-minute warning with Tater. So lots and lots to discuss. You can get involved. You can text us 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. I know if you're an Oilers fan, you're a Jays fan, it's been a tough little stretch here. My son's 3 favorite teams that he cheers for: Kansas City Chiefs. Now they have won recently, but they lost in February. The Oilers lost in June, and now the Blue Jays lost in technically it was in November. So that was tough sledding for him. And I just, he's obviously rattled. He's a young kid. He's like, Dad, why can't a team I cheer for win? I said, well, you have seen the Chiefs win. He goes, yeah, I know, Dad, but not 3 in a row. The Oilers have lost 2 in a row. It's like I've lost the last 4. I'm like, oh, well, that's a tough one. So it is, man. It's sports can be devastating. It can be devastating for players. It can be devastating for fans. And that was a tough one. As we welcome to the show Sean Brown. Brown, are you a baseball guy?
Yeah, of course. For sure in the playoffs. I mean, that was exciting. I was like like everyone else watching the game and rooting for the Blue Jays. I don't, you never know how Game 7s are going to go, but like obviously it didn't, go well for us. But could there have been a better Game 7? It had everything in it, right? From the bullpen, the benches clearing. Like, how exciting was that game?
Although benches clearing in baseball, like,
that's
the worst. It's the worst. Like, nothing happens. You just stroll out. And it's Game 7, the emotion's high. I understand it all, but I'm just like, I wish baseball would, if you leave the dugout, somebody has to throw punches or everybody's getting suspended. Like, it's such a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's the big, oh yeah. Like, come on, what are we yeah about? So either don't come out there. Like, what are the guys from the bullpen doing? Like, I get it's all, team us. I'm like, yeah, but what are you doing? You're running out here to say a whole. And then the most mouthy guy is a coach who's not even a player. So that makes it even worse. So, but it was funny.
So what did you think? Was it justified, or do you think that they should have came out? Because I imagine in the playoffs, like, there's no way you're intentionally trying to hit anyone.
And look where he hit him. He hit him like you're allowed to throw inside on guys, and I get that and hit him in the hand, and that's unfortunate. But there wasn't anything leading up to that point that made you think it was intentional.
Okay, well, I just listening to Buck Martinez, and it sounded like they were pitching inside, which you do in the playoffs. That's inside, what you know. So,
like, let's clear the. Hey, we don't want you pitching inside. Well, we're going to pitch inside. Okay, but I just want you to know we don't like it. Like, really?
Yeah.
What? That's like, so if there's a clean hit in hockey now, everybody steps off the bench. No one does anything, but everybody just comes off. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just. And now contact's allowed, so scrums are allowed. But in baseball, it just always irks me when you see the bench is clear and nothing happens. Now, when the bench is clear and there's an actual brawl in a melee, it's like, okay, this is crazy.
Was the warning justified by the umpire?
Well, because the bench is emptied, you have to do it now.
Oh, you have to?
Well, you don't have to, but I think you pretty much have to. Otherwise, what's going to happen the next time?
I just thought Buck Martinez made a good point of being like, hey, let the emotion of the game, like, let it keep going. Right. So I thought that was a good point. I would have liked to have seen that too, because, obviously, like I said, I mean, that game was full of it.
Yeah.
Right. It was actually, I seen a clip there of the pitcher running from the bullpen, and someone zoomed in there. He was actually kind of smiling as he was coming in. Right. So, yeah, they definitely, a lot of those guys aren't coming in there with the purpose of actually fighting.
No, like, and that wasn't like, I've seen guys get beat. Right, like, you've seen the response, and sometimes maybe something happened. Like, you can tell when a guy's getting beat.
Yeah,
right. But there was nothing on purpose there. We got a lot of texts already. 833-401-40. Hey, Jason, it was hard. I was at my elegant birthday dinner Saturday night, and the Blue Jays loss sucked joy out of my evening. I walked over to the bar next door to watch the 9th and 10th. Such huge highs and lows of being a sports fan. They're so close and have had so many chances to win, but couldn't finish. I'm 39 on Thursday, and I feel the same as your son. Why can't one of my teams win? From Michelle. Well, it's true. Like, I get it, right? Like, as a fan, you invest so much into the games, right? Like sometimes, and even maybe like as a Blue Jay fan, like some of you maybe watch all 162 games. God love you if you do. That's unreal. And even watching all 81 is hard to do, right? Like there is life. And now the diehards will watch the highlights of every game, right? And they'll go back, they'll read stories about, like, they're engrossed all year long. And so you think about it, you start cheering in October in hockey and it goes until the end of June, for goodness sakes. Right? Like that's a significant commitment. Well, and even I guess you're watching the preseason, although let's be honest, I don't think you're as emotionally invested, but I'll say October. And then you look at baseball, and baseball starts in April and goes this year basically till the end of October, right? Like it's a pretty big commitment where there's lots of highs and lows. And you're right, Brownie, like that game had so many ups and downs. And like when Bichette's playing on one leg and he hits a 3-run bomb to center field. Like the thing I liked about Bo Bichette when he hit that home run, because I find at times people like you might never get to hit, you might never play again in Game 7 of World Series. The odds are probably not. So you hit a 3-run shot in the 7th inning, it's unreal. So to me, that's fantastic, and I like that Bichette kind of he took his time being in the moment there.
Yeah, but wasn't it like, and I think that's amazing. And I love when guys, I don't know if you call it showboating or just taking in that actual moment, but wasn't it that long ago where the bat flip was a big deal? Like, is that not along the line? You're still showing, you're showing them off.
That was only
like, why is it accepted now, but it wasn't then?
Well, because it's like anything. It was only unaccepted by a few people. Right? Just because somebody complains about it doesn't mean it's wrong. That's what our society now. Oh, Sean doesn't like it. Well, good for you, Sean. You don't like it. Boo-hoo. That's basically as far as it goes to me. Yeah. Now, but Bo Bichette didn't do anything like Batista. Batista's bat flip was like stare at the dugout, throw it up in the air. Oh, it was totally different. Bo Bichette just kind of stood there and watched his home run, which you're allowed to do. His wasn't nearly like the 1 and 2, that not even close.
Okay, well, right. at the end of the day, it seems like more guys are flipping their bat around, and
but that's
and I don't have a problem with it. I think
a guy
it's
scores
great.
a big goal in hockey. Does he celebrate? Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with it at all. So,
you know what? It is nice, like being a former player, right? And you're kind of in that moment, like and I see more guys doing it with Trey Savage, like when they walk off the mound. They actually it looks like to me, they actually take a moment where they're looking into the crowd and looking at the atmosphere and just kind of.
Oh, you should be.
Yeah, I'm really glad that those guys are actually doing that and taking a moment to do that, because that is a big moment, and you can be, to be able to reflect and look at that. I mean, I obviously never had those types of moments, but I wish I did at different times. Just kind of like whether it was warm up or during a game, just kind of look around and take a breath and be like, wow, this is pretty special. But for myself, I was always just locked in. Okay, got to get to the bench, and very routine.
Yeah. And for some people, maybe you don't want to look out of, you want to stay in the moment, and others can. I just don't. I think at times you get overblown on this focus, and that you have to be, because you're acknowledging the crowd and you're acknowledging the moment. That means you're focused. Just because you don't. I got to look down at the ground because if I look at the crowd, somehow I'm not focused. Like, to me, I kind of find it. Everybody's going to be different. Some guys, they look down. Some guys look straight ahead. Others can scan the room. There's no right or wrong. It's whatever keeps you, in the moment, and however you do it. And you're like, hey, man, I want to take some time here to sit back. Like guys in the bullpen, when the game's on, are they watching the game? Yes, they're relaxed. They're having sunflower seeds. And then when it's their time, they start warming up. But even when they're warming up, and then they see what's going on in the game, right? Yeah. Like you have to be paying attention and kind of be there. And it was a tough ending for the Jays. And then they get to the bottom inning. You're thinking, oh my God, they're going to tie this up. Guerrero has a leadoff double, and you're thinking, oh, this is unreal. And then they play small ball and they get him over to the third base, and then they can't get him in. Like they watch, like Barger was an intentional walk thrown as disguised as 4 pitches. Like I didn't think they were ever pitching to him. He's being red hot. Why would you? The guy was 500.
Yeah. And
plus Kirk, and I hate to say this, the only thing I don't like about this now is Kirk is the best candidate for a double play.
Just because of
his just because of his speed. And it's unfortunate. And man, you hit it anywhere and could have scored. Yeah. And it's just, that was brutal. And
that could have been just as easy as a broken bat blooper into the field too. Like it just wasn't, it was, nobody was anyone the bad guy. Like it was just,
No, there weren't any glaring errors. Like even in game 6, like game 6, probably at the most unlucky play was when the ball lodged in the wall. Because I think with his speed, Straw's probably scoring.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? Then you win. So who knows if you win? Like obviously you have a better chance for sure, but you got a really good chance. I think he would have scored there. And it's, it's brutal and it's unfortunate. And there'll be a lot of what ifs. But the crazy part is like you're the Jays organization. You were just gutted on Saturday. And now your management, like you got to make some big decisions by Thursday. Free agency begins on Thursday. Bo Bichette. You've got Bieber. You got Scherzer. You got Bassett. Right? Like those are your big guys for sure to see, which one of them are going to sign and who's going to be retained. And so it's kind of crazy. One season ends and there's no time to really waste. It's like, okay, we got to get going. The Oilers tonight are taking on the St. Louis Blues. The Blues have lost 7 consecutive games. They did get loser points in 2 of them. They're off to a bad start. Their goaltending's been brutal. If you look at their expected goals to their actual goals against, it's not just on defense. It's on the goaltending. So I look at that, and they got to be much, much better. So we'll take a quick break. We'll return. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Mr. Rooter watches the big game.
Go deep! What you watching, Mr. Rooter? The Plumbing Olympics. Frankie Drain Dragon Sanchez is attempting to break the world record in the 100-meter snake. Watch! Wow! Did you see that? He snaked out a 50-pound clog. And in the middle of that wad, a gold medal. What theater?
Yeah, that's very cool, Mr. Rooter.
For a plumber who's good as gold, call Mr. Rooter.
Wendy's most important deal of the day has a fresh lineup. Pick any 2 breakfast items for $4. New 4-piece French toast sticks, bacon or sausage wrap, biscuit or English muffin sandwiches, small hot coffee, and more. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Taxes extra.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
Prostate cancer affects 1 in 6 men in Alberta, and this November we're fighting back. Every dollar raised fuels early detection and life-saving support. Donate today for the men in our province. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to start your fundraiser or donate today.
Hey there, this is your wake-up call. It's time to change to your winter tires. Unless you want to be sliding and swerving around icy roads like you're some kind of dummy, head to Big Toy Shop and get it done right for a great price. We won't lie to you, inflate your bill, or waste your time. Time to change your tires. Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road. 780-298-2797.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Winter in Alberta doesn't mess around.
And neither does Titan Supply.
For over 50 years, we've earned the trust of our customers across a variety of industries.
Because we lead with integrity,
honesty,
and respect.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Brent from Titan Supply. When the weather hits hard,
we're fully stocked with rigging, lifting, and hauling gear that works as hard as you do.
Titan Supply.
Built on trust, driven by safety.
Serving Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary.
Let us help you face the weather the Titan way.
Visit titansupply.ca.
I hear the train.
Backed by popular demand, Folsom Prison Revisited. The story of one of the greatest concerts in history returns to the Jubilee Auditorium November 27th. Step back in time before, during, and after this iconic Johnny Cash performance. You'll relive an event that changed the life of Johnny Cash and changed music forever. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca and the Jubilee box office. Brought to you by Stars and Stories Live.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.220, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Of course, it's a Monday night, a rare Monday evening game for the Edmonton Oilers as they are on the road taking on the St. Louis Blues, who are struggling right now. And if you look at a lot of the underlying numbers, it kind of seems to be like one area of their game is struggling. So we'll find out if that's matching what the numbers are saying as we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, where Monopoly, you have exactly 1 week left to enjoy your chance to peel like a winner. That's right, peel when you get it, and then peel online with the app for your second chance to win great prizes in Monopoly for another week at McDonald's, as we're joined by Andy Strickland, longtime reporter for the St. Louis Blues. Of course, one half of the him and Cam Jansen have a great podcast going, also a ringside reporter for the Blues. And Andy, when I look at all the numbers, the one that seems to stand out here for them is goaltending. Is it too easy to say it's just being goaltending why the Blues are struggling so much?
Well, typically that would be the case. You know, I mean, it's just not just the goaltenders. I mean, when you're not playing great hockey in front of the goalies, then obviously the defensive errors, they get more exposed. And, you know, that area of the ice certainly needs to be cleaned up as well for the Blues. But, you know, the goaltending needs to be better. I mean, I think if you look at some of the other stats defensively, they don't give up a ton in terms of shots against, shot attempts, high danger chances. But listen, the chances they do give up have been, better than grade A, if that's possible, right? So sometimes there's not much the goaltender can do there to bail you out. But there's also been a lot of bad luck. You know, some bad bounces. I mean, a lot of fluky goals against. I mean, go back to the first game of the season against Minnesota. We saw a couple in that game. And it just seems like every game. You go back to the Detroit game where things really started getting out of control for the Blues. It happened before that on the home game, a 4-game homestand. But in Detroit, they had a 4-0 lead in the first period, only to lose the game. And you look at the second and third goal that scored by Detroit at the end of the second period. I mean, those were fluky goals. And so there's been a couple of those, you know, some bad bounces. But, again, defensively, they haven't been good enough. They know that. They feel like they're starting to trend in the right direction in an effort to get things going. They felt like they played one of the best periods of the season in the third period the other night, you know, before they traveled back home in Columbus. So we'll see what that means here tonight against a difficult team, obviously, in Edmonton.
So with Jim Montgomery being brought in last year to kind of settle things down, and I know you guys have some injuries with some key players, is there anything you feel like he maybe needs to do to maybe get a little bit more out of his team?
Well, listen, that's the $1 million question. I mean, he's tried a lot of different things, guys, in terms of changing the line combinations and, guys coming in the lineup, guys coming out of the lineup. You lose your leading goal scorer and Jake Neighbors, who got up to an unbelievable start. I think he had 6 goals on 12 shots, something like that. And you lose him long term. I mean, they're saying reevaluated in 5 weeks, so you're not going to get him back anytime soon. You're going to get Robert Thomas back tonight, but he's missed the last week. So that's your number one center. I mean, you go back to the last game, Nick Bukestad was your best forward probably in the game. And it's great for Nick, but it's probably not great for the Blues that he's your best forward in the game. And he played the most that he's played since coming over from Utah in the offseason. They signed him as a free agent. So, listen, I know he's tried a lot of different things. They've really stressed, obviously, how they want to defend and, made some tweaks, I think, to protecting the middle of the ice, something that Jim Montgomery stresses night in and night out all the time, just in terms of how they defend in the middle of the ice, where, most of the goals come from in the NHL. I mean, that's where you score your goals, and that's an area where the Blues have really struggled defensively. It's been a big area of weakness. And I think, at the other end, just getting to the net front, and getting to some of those rebounds and, creating second and third chances. I mean, they've really struggled from that standpoint. They feel like they got better in Columbus in the third period there, where they actually had chances, off of rebounds and off of scrums in front. But sometimes that's just playing desperation hockey. That's effort. And Jim Montgomery's called out the effort on a couple of occasions this season already. That's not a great sign, but his demeanor again after the loss in Columbus the other night was completely different than how he had reacted to a couple of the losses prior to that. They're winless in 7. They feel like at some point in time when you continue to get chances and maybe you're missing the net by, a half of an inch or you're hitting the post, those are going to eventually start to go in, and we'll see if that changes tonight.
When you look at Binnington and Hofer individually, Andy, and everybody, we saw what Binnington did last year. Like when their head coach came in now, Montgomery, the Blues were one of the best teams offensive or overall, and one of the best teams defensively in his 60 games. And none of those numbers really match. So just from a goaltending perspective, what have you seen first with Binnington and then with Hofer in the areas they've struggled individually?
Well, with Hofer, he's got in trouble. You go back to the Chicago game that was on national TV down here in the States. I mean, he just got in trouble leaving his crease and playing the puck and turning pucks over. I mean, he never recovered. You go back and watch the first goal against Chicago, one of the first games of the season. And he turned the puck over below the goal line. And it was an easy, empty cage for whoever scored it for Chicago. And he never recovered in that game. And that game really set him back. His next start against Utah, I think he got scored on the first shot of that game and didn't end up finishing that game. Didn't finish the game against Chicago either. Then his next start in Pittsburgh gives up the first 2 shots of the game. And nothing he could really do on the first one, or the second one, I should say, but the first one, a great shot by Rust, but still it's one that he would typically save. And I talked to, Hofer specifically about this, just in terms of, not to get into too much of goaltending speak, but he says, when his feet are set, then he's going to make the save 99 out of 100 times. When he's not set, then he's not going to make the save. And so he felt like fundamentally there were some issues, more so than the mental side of it.
Okay.
It was more fundamental, and he could correct that. And, it looks like maybe he has, because he played a pretty good game the other night in Columbus. For Binnington, listen, we talk about the bad bounces and the bad puck luck. We're seeing a lot of fluky goals scored on him. And listen, we've seen Binnington play at the highest level where he's been unbelievable. And, you know that he has it in him to get back to that level, but he hasn't been that guy. And when you have the defensive issues that they're going through right now, the inability to defend net front, and some of the breakdowns that are leading to some of the high-end quality chances against, that's where you need Binnington to come through and make maybe the saves that you don't expect him to make, which he's made in the past. And those haven't been there for him so far this season. He's had a couple of games where he's been unbelievable, The win at home against Dallas, he was incredible. The win on the road at Vancouver, he was really, really good. They need more of that from Jordan Binnington, and he's got to be their best player tonight against Edmonton.
Yeah. You look at the Blues now. Robert Thomas comes back. Before he went out, now Robert Thomas led the NHL in scoring after Four Nations last year, and I think there's a lot of people expecting he was going to carry that over into this season, and kind of got off to a slow start. He had no goals, 3 assists, 5-on-5 in his first 8 games. What was the injury he was out with, Andy? And are you expecting him to jump right back in, or is this an injury that might take him a few games to get back up to speed?
Well, he should be able to jump in. You never know. It was an upper body injury, took an elbow up high, so you can, use 2 and 2 and come up with 4 and figure out what that was. But that it's an injury he had never dealt with in the past, so he's missed the last week. So you'd expect him to be able to come back and be okay. I guess you just never know how his body's going to react. But he skated yesterday and felt like he was fine. Skated this morning, felt like he was fine. So you'll see him back up there, centering the top line, being on the first power play, all of that you would typically see. You mentioned the lack of production in the first handful of games, Jason. I mean, this guy, his passing ability, as we know, is elite. And you're right. The last 26 games or whatever it was down the stretch last season, he led the league in scoring.
Yeah.
Which is a big chunk, right? It's not just a small chunk of games. I mean, this guy was strong on the radar for Hockey Canada coming into the season as a guy who could potentially make that roster. It's going to be difficult now with the start that he's had. But, he was invited to the orientation camp. I mean, he was, Doug Armstrong obviously is the GM of Canada and the St. Louis Blues. So there's a strong connection there. And I know John Cooper has a lot of respect for his game too. But I can't tell you how many grade A passes that he made that was right on the tee for somebody to score, and they just couldn't finish. So sometimes when you're a passer and you're not producing and you're not putting up points, then I think you can look at it and say, is he not playing well, or is he setting guys up and they're not finishing? I think this was more of the latter. He should have way more points than he has right now, and I can come up with 5 or 6 in my head immediately where guys should have finished, and they typically would have in the past, and they didn't. And Pavel Buchnevich is one of those guys. This guy's had 3 or 4 grade A chances where, I'm talking wide open nets that he would typically finish in the past, and the puck, for whatever reason, is just exploding off of his blade, and he's not handling it clean, and therefore he's just not either getting the shot off or even able to direct it into the net, into a wide open net. The puck just completely explodes into pieces, like I said. So, we've seen Thomas play at a much higher level than what he's played so far this season, but at the same time, if a couple of those would have gone in, that would have given him a little more confidence, a little more juice, a little more jump, and there's nothing he can do about that.
Andy, St. Louis isn't the only team to maybe not be playing at their best, and they're also not the only team to be dealing with injuries to some key players. Where do you feel Doug Armstrong is as far as maybe making a move?
Well, I think, listen, they made a minor league move today, and it looks like a nothing move by trading for Calle Rosen, who has some experience and some history playing here in St. Louis, and I think he's played close to 100 games in the NHL, and over 70 of those are with St. Louis. So, he's been on good teams here in the past, and he's played well. So you just wonder what that means for the future of Logan Mailloux here in the short term, who's kind of been in and out of the lineup. He's trying to find his way. He's not playing today. Of course, he was traded for Zachary Bolduc in the offseason. Bolduc got off to a hot start. He's kind of slowed down now in Montreal, but it certainly got the attention of the fan base, because you traded a guy who scored 19 goals last season, and I think all of them are somewhere in that range. And all of those goals were scored after Jim Montgomery got here. So he thrived under Montgomery. He didn't score in the playoffs, but they have a ton of wingers and guys who are coming. Who they drafted Justin Carbonneau in the first round this past June. He's shredding the Quebec League once again this season. This guy's going to play probably as soon as next year. And they've got had to create some space. And listen, it's hard to find right shot defensemen who, have size, who can skate and, handle the puck and move the puck and do everything that you want to have elite defensemen do nowadays. So they made the deal. And you just wonder now with the Rosen acquisition, is he the replacement in the short term if they need to send Mailloux down? If they want to send him down and have him go down there and play, then now you have a veteran guy who you can bring up here and, if you need to, plug somebody else in and to play. So, but listen, absolutely. If they're not going to show any signs of improvement here and the season completely falls off the track and there's just no way they can catch up and get back into it. This is a team that's chased it in the past and done very well doing so. as recent as last season. Their record last year after the Four Nations was incredible. No one thought they had any chance of coming back. I think they were 8 or 9 points, something like that, out of the playoffs, coming out of the Four Nations last year, and they somehow found a way to get back in. And you go back to 2019, obviously, when they won the Stanley Cup. I mean, everyone knows that they were out of the playoffs or last in the Western Conference in January of that year. So and they've shown that ability and that resolve in the past, but you just can't make a habit of doing that and expect the same result to happen. I mean, it's just too hard to do in the NHL. And I look at it right now, guys, and I include Edmonton in this group. I mean, I've got 6 or 7 locks to make the playoffs. And that doesn't include Anaheim. I've got Utah in there right now. You know, in addition to the Edmontons and the Vegases and the Winnipegs and the Dallases and the Colorados. I mean, you're competing now with the Anaheim Ducks, with Seattle, you know, for that last final spot to get in. So we all know it's not going to be easy. You don't want to dig yourself too big of a hole. The question is, have the Blues done that already, and how quickly can they get out of it? And if they don't get out of it, then obviously it sets the table for Doug Armstrong to make some moves that maybe people didn't see coming.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because they don't really have any big name UFA guys do right away, right? You got like, you know, Toropchenko and Sundqvist and, you know, Matthew Joseph, more depth guys. You know, lots of their guys are signed for multiple years, you know, up top, kind of at the top of the roster, really for them. You know, I guess, you know, maybe Justin Falk would be the one guy who's got 2 years left on his deal. Like Armstrong has, because it's not just Doug Armstrong. You're going to the transition period, right? Like you're going to have a new GM next season for the Blues. How do you think that plays into this whole process here?
Well, they work alongside one another. And I think when you have a new guy taking over who's already working inside the organization, not to say that Steen has to sign off on any moves, but I do think it's important that you're working together and that you're in unison, because you want to make sure that whatever moves you make are moves that Steen is given the thumbs up on, because these are moves that he believes are going to help the team moving forward. I don't think you can just make some moves that he absolutely does not want to make, or you know what I'm saying with that. I mean, it's just like, if this guy's going to take over, you're not going to want to move a piece that he feels like is a big part of his future, whether that player is here or not. So I think, you know, the chemistry that those two have is important between Armstrong and Steen, and they have worked together for a couple of years now in management. And obviously, their working history goes way back, with Steen being a longtime player here under Doug Armstrong. So that communication will certainly be there. So listen, to answer your question, it's important. It's very important. And, you know, with him taking over, any moves that are going to be made that are going to affect this organization moving forward beyond this season and even beyond next season, I would think Alexander Steen would certainly be heavily involved in those decisions.
One last one for you. There was a big deal in the offseason between the Blues and the Canadians. 2 young guys. How's Logan? I know he's not going to play tonight. He's been sitting out. How's Logan Mailloux looked?
He's looked like a player who hasn't played a whole lot in the NHL, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, when you get off to a slow start and you're on a new team, new organization, and you're young, and I think he came into the season having played 8 career games in the NHL. That's tough to really kind of rediscover your game. And it's been tough sledding for him. I thought a couple of games ago he had his best game, where he was noticeable. He was jumping up into the play. He was aggressive in the offensive end, but, you know, he took 2 penalties in the first period of the game, which you can't do. And so then he didn't dress in the next game. And listen, it's all confidence with him. This guy just needs to play. And they are fully committed and invested in his future. And they believe that he's going to be a really good player for a long time. They didn't make this move, in their view, without having a firm feel for what they were getting in return. And they talked to a lot of people. They've watched him play for several years. He was obviously a high draft pick, would have gone even higher if he didn't have the off-ice issues. So whenever a player is drafted that, you've already done your homework. You know who that player is. You know their history. You know their background. And you've watched them play for a long time. They've got a lot of connections, obviously, in London, here in St. Louis. So, again, I don't think it's a major surprise to see a young defenseman struggle. And they haven't lost confidence in his ability to play. But he does need to play. So you just wonder if that point will come where he goes down to the American Hockey League and gets some more games in. But again, just from a confidence standpoint, when you get off on the wrong foot and the team's not winning, that can be a difficult situation to be in. Listen, they like their top four. They've got some experienced players, and I'm including Philip Broberg in there too, who hasn't played a ton, over the course of his career, but he plays like a guy who's been around much longer than he has been. And I think he's been the most consistent defenseman they have up to this point. He's been fantastic. It's interesting because Holloway's struggling. Holloway was so good last year, and he just hasn't produced at the level that you would expect, but he's coming off an injury and whatnot. But, the third pair is a little inexperienced here in St. Louis with Tucker, and they had Mayu. And it got to a point where they weren't even getting those two guys on the ice together. They would put one guy with a veteran and, kind of split up the pairs for a couple of shifts there, just in an effort to get these guys on the ice. But they weren't putting them on the ice together. They were trying to get them on the ice with another veteran from the top four. So the knowing who was going out with who and who was playing with who, it just disrupted their overall chemistry. And that showed when you watch them play. They look like a team that didn't have a ton of chemistry. So Mayu, it hasn't gone according to plan up to this point. But again, we got a long way to judge not only the trade, but certainly what kind of NHL defenseman he's going to be.
Andy, as always, buddy, great stuff. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll talk to you again soon. Appreciate your time.
Anytime, fellas. You guys have a great day.
You betcha. There's Andy Strickland, half of the Cam and Strick podcast. Of course, a longtime beat reporter for the Blues. Now, Dylan Holloway offensively is struggling, Brownie, but he's playing the most minutes of any forward, right? He's playing almost 20 minutes a night. He just can't score.
Well, by the sounds of it there, it just sounds like they're a little bit snake bitten at different times, right? And that kind of happens. I mean, just because you had a good year last year, and there's no guarantee the next year, right? So, I mean, I think it's important for young guys to just, stick with the process, make sure you dial in on your routine and your practice habits, and eventually it kind of all works its way out.
Well, it's why timing's such a big factor, where you have a big year and you're an RFA or a UFA, you can cash in, right? Like Dylan Holloway had a huge year last year. And if he would have been a free agent this summer as an RFA, he probably would have struck it huge. Now, if his struggles continue all year long, it's going to cost him some money. That's just the truth, right? Like, and I'm sure every guy's different, but some guys it starts to weigh on you.
Well, you wonder with, the Olympics coming up and you look at Binghamton and the fact that he's struggling, is it because even though he's a veteran, is this opportunity, playing with his head a little bit, with Holloway, is it the same thing? It's you put a little bit more pressure knowing that it's a big year and what's at stake. And, once you start getting your head a little bit, right, it starts, and if it gets snowballing, it makes it really tough.
For sure. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, we'll come back. We'll get to the oil report next. Oilers in St. Louis. We'll hear from Chris Knobloch. No lineup changes for the Oilers, but I'm going to say it's a roster flip for the Edmonton Oilers that needs to be discussed, because this is not just a 13-game stretch. I think this is a bigger, longer period of time, and it's something that some might be uncomfortable admitting. We'll find out next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Noodle origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Noodle.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit JapaMachinery.com to find out more.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired. Yeah, waking up tired. Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and sadly, some people think orthotics are just glorified shoe cushions. But I've seen a runner drop 8 minutes off her marathon, a grandmother ditch her painkillers, and a 12-year-old nail her long jump, all thanks to custom foot orthotics. So if your feet are screaming for help, flat, high, or funky, that pain's heading to your knees, hips, even your lower back, our professionals will assess you and, if indicated, custom fabricate a pair of orthotics made just for you. Happy feet make a happy person. Feet shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
Hat-tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Uh, 2:45. Welcome back. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. God, I love. Look, you got to have some humor every now and then. I like it. Steve sends us a note. We were talking about the Blues and their struggles and everything. And he's like, well, no, in the Oilers history that the Blues win tonight, some rookie gets his first goal. And if they're a guy who hasn't scored in 982 games, he'll get a pair. I know, because there was a stretch where I remember, and there was a stat came up. I can't remember what team it was. Because what are fans like? Oh my God, first goal of his career, first goal of the season. You know, it's like December, and they'd be like, oh my God. And then it was Winnipeg, and they had like 8 guys that year that have done the same thing. And I'm like, see, it isn't just, but I get why when you only watch your team, you're like, does this only happen to us? Yeah, I'm sure it does. And for the Oilers, you look at players on the Blues. I'd have to find out like who's gone the longest without a goal. maybe that's the one you put on at PlayAlberta.ca. Now, former Oilers. Holloway Brober. But here's the stat for me is the Edmonton Oilers, their first 3 games of the year, they scored first in every game. They went 2-1. And we all watched Calgary game. They should have won the game. Since then, they've scored first twice. Now, they've won both games. But 2 out of the last 10, they've only scored first once. And it's not ideal. You look across the NHL, teams who score first, you know what their winning percentage is? 68%. That's across the league, not just Edmonton. It matters. And so you're playing with fire when you're scoring first in 20% of the games like they have in the last 10.
Yeah, you definitely play different and a lot looser. It's hard to play the game when you're chasing it.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, even if you don't want, and it's like, okay, we give up a goal in the first 2 minutes. There's still 58 minutes but in your head, you're like, oh my God, we got to score next. And maybe someone pinches when they shouldn't pinch. But for the Oilers, and what's interesting is I looked when the game is tied 5-on-5, and I want to get the exact numbers because I looked it up because the one thing the Oilers, the Oilers haven't played with a lead very much. So the Oilers have played 5-on-5 with a tie because most of their games have been 1-goal games this year. Whether they're winning or losing, most have been 1-goal games. They've played the most 5-on-5 minutes with the score tied, 332. They've played 177 minutes when they're trailing 5-on-5 and 152 minutes when they're leading. Obviously, they've led the fewest, right? So no surprise. When they're leading, they've been outscored 9-5. When they're trailing, they've outscored teams 12-8. And when they're tied, they've been outscored 10-6. So, and it's funny. St. Louis has played only 190 minutes of tie time, and they've been outscored 10-6. Saying so they're giving up way more, right? Yeah. But the Oilers just aren't scoring like you think. The Oilers have 6 goals when the game is tied 5-on-5 in 332 minutes. They have 12 goals when they're trailing at 170. So maybe they just get more aggressive. I don't know, but it kind of sometimes debunks the theory that, if you're playing with the lead, that it's easier, even though we think in our head it is. But the Oilers, when they're leading 5-on-5, they've been outscored 9-5.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, you definitely see the Oilers when they're down, the desperation in their game. And obviously, I think Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl get out there more, but you can just see the overall desperation, starts to kick in, and then they start creating some, more opportunities. But that's kind of characteristic through, that's probably normal, right? It's just trying. I mean, the Oilers, obviously are have moments of playing well. They're still finding, and I think the word they use now is building, right? They're still building on their game, and the consistency in which they do certain things really well. It's just it's a matter of consistently doing it for 3 periods.
Let's get to the oil report now, brought to you by Go Auto. 28 new vehicle brands, 69 locations to choose from, where you can shop at over 15,000 vehicles. Right? More selection than Brownie has hair gel. GoAuto.ca. As we're going to get to Chris Knobloch. And when you look at his team, and we're going to go with their 5-on-5 play, because Brownie, they're not scoring a lot of goals 5-on-5. Connor McDavid has 1. He has 4 points. He right now, in the last decade, he's never scored less than 50 points 5-on-5 in any season. Even when he played 56 games, still had 50 points, which is showing you how dominant he's been at times 5-on-5. He has 4 points in third. He's on pace for 25 points 5-on-5. So does Knobloch, what's he expecting? How can he get improvement from his group 5-on-5?
I would think there'd be a little bit of a correction, but typically the Edmonton Oilers shooting percentage has been lower. The expected goals has been typically under what has been as expected. So I think there'd be some kind of regression, more pucks in the net. But I think the biggest concern for us, and what we're focusing on now, is just playing a good 5-on-5 game. That's all 200 feet around the ice. And, I just think some nights we're good in the offensive zone, other nights defensive zone. We just need to try and put it all together.
Zach Hyman, Matthias Janmark are both on the trip. How close? We know that neither one. Well, I know that Hyman's not playing tomorrow night, but is this just a sign he wants to get him skating? Is there a possibility we see them later in the week?
I would say they're a week, maybe a little bit more, but both those guys we hope to get in certainly before or by our next road trip out to the east.
Well, that means then that's a maximum of 4 more games they could sit out. Because tonight, tomorrow, Saturday at home, Monday at home, then they go on the road trip. So, there you go. That's the Janmark is something that's it kind of aggravated from, wasn't major, but just kind of a lingering thing that he's aggravated. Hyman, everybody knows what's happening. And a wrist injury like that, man, you just what's the reason of rushing him? Right? It's funny. People will complain, well, they're not coming back. And then when they come, they rushed him. You can't have it both ways. To me, Zach Hyman isn't coming back because it's your wrist and it's so important. Your stick handling, shooting, everything, Brownie. I wouldn't risk a wrist injury. Well, I would not risk any injury, but who cares if Zach Hyman doesn't play till November 18th or November 25th, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, he doesn't need to, Zach Hyman right now, being healthy is the most important thing, especially kind of this team's obviously going to go on a run and you're going to need him. And, with a wrist injury, not only for handling the puck and shooting, but you got to think like when you're getting hit in the boards, like a lot of the times what's going into the boards first is your hands because you're kind of embracing yourself and you don't need a weak wrist where you risk a buckle fracture or something. Right. So, this also gives other guys, they got some depth. They got some players, Roslovic, they got Mangiapane, they got some guys that, can play, some older guys with experience. And this gives the coach an opportunity throughout his lineup to see what he's actually got. Cause it's going to be interesting when Janmark and some of these guys do come back, he's going to have some tough decisions to make. So, I don't know exactly what he's going to do, but, this is an opportunity for a lot of guys to take advantage of the situation that the Oilers are in right now.
Regula, you got to see a few games with, and then he got rocked by Van Kane. We really haven't seen him since. Early impressions of Regula.
Yeah, I liked him. I thought he was great. I mean, he's a big guy, covers a lot of ice, skates well. He's got a good stick, and you know what? That's the one thing in the defensive zone, right? It's good to have defensive positioning and all that kind of stuff, but you still need guys that can actually shut down the cycle and actually close and hit and pin and end the cycle, right? And I think that he's one guy that that I found was doing a super job, and it seemed like each game he was getting a little bit more confident and building off. It was building off of the previous game. So it's too bad that, Kane caught him there with his head down and he got injured. But, I really like him. I hope when he gets back, I think, I'd like to see him have another opportunity to continue.
Yeah. Well, no, I think he moves the puck quite well. And I know that in today's game, they're always looking for that. So if you're a big guy who can get in the lane, he's not overly physical for his size. I know when you see him, you're thinking to be more physical. He's not really that guy. But, if you can just get in the way, like I look at him and say, potential best case scenario is maybe could he become Mikko Mikkola, right? If you're the Edmonton Oilers, like down the road, could he become that guy? But that would be a huge boost.
Yeah. But even if he's not, like you're saying, he's not overly physical, and they got some guys on the third, fourth line that I think they're trying to figure out, what they have and trying to have a line that can create some energy and play physical and play below the, play below the goal line. Like, is it too much to ask of a player to be like, hey, I know you're not physical, but if you want to be an NHL player, you have to be physical. You have to use your size. We need more. This is what our team needs. Like, so to me, that conversation, just because you're not, I still think that conversation has to be had, and he has to be given an opportunity. And if he really wants it, he'll become an NHL. He could be an everyday NHL player because he's got everything else.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think it's going to come down to him. Right. And that's where guys need to almost reinvent themselves. And I think, Savoy is a guy that, to me, was a highly touted major junior player. Now, he gets to the American Hockey League, starts to put up points. Now he's at another level in the NHL. Right. And so he's been in lots of different positions with the Oilers, right? He's been in a checking role. He's been on the fourth line, the third. He's moved up and down, right? He's a guy that can make plays, but right now he's still just trying to figure out, what do I got to do just to be an everyday player?
Yeah.
Right. And so guys need to be able to figure that out if they want to be a long-term NHL player.
And I think Regula, like when I say be physical, I just look at Evan Bouchard in the postseason. Doesn't back down to anybody. Gets in the odd scrum, punches a guy in the face.
Bouchard?
Yeah.
Like Bouchard in the face.
In the playoffs. Right?
Yeah, really?
You haven't seen Bouchard get
I see that guy getting punched in the face and look.
No, in this,
really? Okay.
While you watched last year in the playoffs, there was multiple, because I remember Strutty used to say guys who would look down at their skate laces, right? And in the regular season, they got a lot of skate laces.
That's him, yeah.
No, not in the playoffs,
really?
Man. Bouchard gives it right back to guys.
Wow.
I have no problem with Bouchard. You actually you can even look at the stats.
Okay.
You just look at his hits in the postseason compared to the regular season. It's night and day.
Okay.
Right? Now, he's not a banger, but my point is, he recognizes when the games get harder, you can't get intimidated. You can't get pushed around.
You're right.
He at least pushes back. He doesn't initiate, but he doesn't look at it. If somebody hits him, he hits him back in a scrum. Whereas in the regular season, guys don't do it. It annoys the hell out of me. I'm like, you got to create your own space sometimes.
Yeah.
Remember the slash on Rupe Hintz?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So,
okay. I can't see too many guys turning away from Bouchard.
I never said they turned it. I never said they turned it away from him.
yeah.
He didn't back down.
Yeah.
When someone came at him, he pushed back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Bouchard's a tough player in a different way in my eyes,
Yeah.
right? He'll take a hit,
yeah.
right? He's not overly physical. He'll give a hit. He's not shying away from
That's
a
what
hit.
I meant, yeah.
But I don't find Bouchard to be a guy that in a scrum, I don't see that guy scrumming it up.
No, he doesn't. But I'm not saying he comes in the scrum and punches you in the face. But if you push him in the playoffs, he was pushing back at least, right? He was now. You got to remember, who are the big heavyweights in the West? There's none. It's not like he has to be scared. But I'm saying Regula is bigger than Bouchard. So if Bouchard can do it, Regula better damn well do it if you want to play in the third pair.
Yeah, Bouchard is a different beast altogether.
But my point is, in the playoffs, Bouchard is your best defenseman, isn't shying away.
Yeah.
If you're in a third pair and you're not physical, you're out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. You can't be a soft third pair defenseman.
Yeah.
I just don't think you can.
No, for sure. I agree with that. That Regula has a skill set that he can play in the NHL. Maybe, but I think he could be an everyday, like he could really separate himself and create a position on the Oilers if he plays heavy, uncomfortable, hard, and takes advantage of his size.
Yeah. And the other thing I do want to talk about, because I know it's Leon Draisaitl is the Oilers' best player 5-on-5, and he has been now for 2 years. Like, it's just a fact. Look at all the numbers. Last year, you look at his offensive production, and then look at his defensive game. The guy finished 6th in the Selke. Like right now, 5-on-5, McDavid's not as good as Draisaitl. David's game's got to elevate because right now, Draisaitl, for over, I would say almost close to 2 years. The last time McDavid was clearly better than Leon was in the playoffs of 24 when he went nuclear. Since then, Leon's been the better player. And that's good for Leon. But like I look at this year, Connor McDavid has 1 goal and 4 points in 13 games, 5-on-5. 1 goal and 4 points. That's like a third line player production, 5-on-5. It's not good enough. Like, it's simply not good enough. And he needs to be better. And you look, Draisaitl and him played together. Wasn't working. They've separated. Draisaitl's line, since it got put together, him, Podkolzin, and Roslovic. They've outscored the opposition 5-0. And they've outshot them 31-19. And you look, they've been a threat. Right? Against Chicago, Draisaitl's line outshot the Blackhawks 8-1. The other 3 forward lines got outshot 24-12. Like, that's a significant margin. Right? Draisaitl's line, 5-on-5, had 40% of all the shots, 5-on-5. Just not good enough. Like, you need more, especially for McDavid's line, but specifically McDavid, 5-on-5. Like, I'm sorry, he's got to be better.
You got the stats to back it up. I mean, that's a tough one. Draisaitl, obviously, I mean, it's close. I don't know if I see it your way. Is you obviously have the numbers to back it up, but
he's more productive. I mean, he doesn't give up as many goals. So in what way is he not better?
I just
other than people going off of legacy, which way has he not been better in the last 100 regular season games?
I guess if I'm building a team, I'm building it off of McDavid more than I am Draisaitl. But they're both elite players.
Okay, but you're building off a team in the last 2 years, right? I'm not building off a reputation. I'm going off what have I seen in the last year and a half?
Yeah.
Leon Draisaitl has been better than Connor McDavid. Not that saying Connor's bad, but Leon's been better. And they need McDavid to get going here 5-on-5.
He's not playing at his best, but I'm still taking McDavid over Draisaitl.
Okay. We'll take a quick break. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca, 2 locations, Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Your fridge just got an upgrade. Over 200 chef-prepared gourmet meals are waiting for you at Loca Quality Market. Check it out online, loca.ca.
This is a sports 1440 update.
It's game day. Oilers on the road in St. Louis taking on the Blues. That one gets going at 6:30. Our pregame coverage at 5:30. Andrew Walker. 3 other games on the ice tonight. Leafs host the Penguins. Canucks in Nashville. And the Kraken taking on the Blackhawks. Week 9 in the NFL wraps up. Cards in Dallas taking on the Cowboys. That gets going at 6:15. Off the field, Chargers to tackle Joe Alt will miss the remainder of the season with a high ankle sprain. And the Eagles have acquired outside linebacker Jalen Phillips from Miami for a 2026 third-round draft pick. In the association tonight, you got 9 games, including the Bucks in Indiana. Celtics host the Pacers with the Jazz. Mavericks taking on the Rockets. Nuggets host the Kings. Lakers in Portland, and it's the Clippers up against the Miami Heat. And some news from the majors. Red Sox third baseman Alex Bregman Yankees outfielder and first baseman Cody Bellinger and Mets closer Edwin Diaz among the players who have opted out of their contracts and will become free agents. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll talk a little CFL and NFL with Dave Naylor. We'll look at the Blue Jays with Mike Wilner and hear another edition of Camp 8's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Whoa, who turned off all the lights? Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right?
Available now, only at Booster Juice.
You know your neighbor, right? The one who watches your house when you're away, who keeps their yard looking nice, who says hello every day. That's us. GS Construction. Now, we probably don't live right beside you, but we do live in your community. And when it comes to water and wastewater infrastructure, moving along smoothly, we're the ones doing that work. GS Construction has been doing it since 1974, over 50 years. So you could say we are your neighbors who wear hard hats and work boots. To find out what your neighbors do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
If you're looking for nonstop sports coverage, tune into Sports 1440, Edmonton's only sports radio station.
24/7 coverage comes at you with expert commentary, in-depth analysis,
And so much more.
We are Sports 1440.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. It's not lost on me that this radio ad competes with a lot of other dealerships on the air. So what sets us apart? Honesty. At Northgate, we believe in giving you the very
magnificent Monday
value possible. We aren't giving away free trips or paying off your credit cards, but it is my promise you will get exactly what you paid for.
Oh, they're going to tie this up.
Stop at
Recent Glass or visit crystalglass.ca.
97
Brought to you by Stars and Stories Live.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled. And
they got to be much. Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers.
220, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown.
And freight
CA,
YouTube
1440, 40 Sports 1440.
For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance. When you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer. If you're looking for nonstop sports coverage, tune into Sports 1440, Edmonton's only sports radio station.
24/7 coverage comes at you with expert commentary, in-depth analysis,
And so much more.
We are Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Through Monday afternoon. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. We always appreciate you listening, watching the show. Oilers Nation as well. Thanks so much. The Oilers in St. Louis to take on the struggling Blues tonight. We will have a pregame show coming up in around 2.5 hours. 5:30 is the puck drops around 6:40 tonight. And then the Oilers are in Dallas tomorrow. Pickard starting in goal tonight for Edmonton up against Jordan Binnington. The Blues goaltenders have not been up to par. Blues defensive game, according to Andy Strickland, also has been subpar. They've lost 7 consecutive games, 2 of them in extra time, but still, they're 0-5-2 in their last 7. The Oilers will try to add to St. Louis's Blues, shall we say. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us in our email inbox. Jason Gregor alongside Sean Brown as we get to our football report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter long at legacyheating.ca. As Dave Naylor from TSN joins us once again, talking CFL and NFL. And Dave, it was an unreal weekend of CFL playoff football, man. 2 of the most exciting games of the season.
Yeah, and the first one didn't feel like it was going to be like
no,
that, you know.
No.
And here's the thing with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and we kind of joke, Farhan Lalzi and I joke about this kind of with each other, that at so many times this season, we've been convinced the Bombers are done. You know, they've had injuries. You know, Zach isn't playing like he was. They've kind of been aged out, it seems. And, they've certainly had far more subpar performances this season than probably in the past 3 or 4 seasons combined. And yet, every time we feel like, okay, they're not the threat, they get up off the mat. I mean, they had that 40-3 win over Hamilton a few weeks ago where they looked like the 2021 version of themselves. They had that weirdo game against Ottawa where, they completed 3 passes and managed to win a game that against a team that was at home and had the lead in the first half and very much badly needed to win that game. And then you get to halftime. And, I think Milt Stegall said it best on the panel when he was asked, what's the opportunity have to be for Winnipeg to come back in this game? And he said, there is no opportunity. They're not coming back. And sure enough, 5 minutes into the third quarter, it's a totally different game. And I said it all year, don't ever count out the Bombers. And they really kind of proved that to us in the way they came back in that game. And maybe Montreal got a little cocky. I think maybe they thought that game was over long before it was.
Yeah, Calgary and BC, just nothing really, no one gave an inch until the final kick. And, Sean White continues to be Mr. Clutch for the BC Lions at key moments. But, that was a great game that was never out of kind of control where you're like, oh, somebody's having a miracle comeback. Like, it was a fantastic football game, start to finish. And I thought BC has been the best team for the last 6 weeks. But, man, I give Calgary a ton of credit. I didn't think they could keep it that close. And they were full marks for being in that game.
Yeah, that was and especially because Calgary's defense, if you look at the way they had played pretty much from the time that Flo Orimolade went out of the lineup the week after Labor Day, that had been a different defense. I mean, it just, his presence had such an impact. And, they were giving up, I believe they gave up, there's a 4-game stretch there where they were giving up nearly 40 points a game. And they kind of brought it together at the end of the year. And again, 2 of the 3 opponents at the end of the year were teams that were playing for nothing. So to me, that was the big matchup going into that game, especially with the way Rourke had been rolling, the way BC's offense had been rolling overall, and playing indoors. I just thought they were going to be unstoppable. But, that's probably, Rourke's weakest game since Labor Day, I would say. They didn't run the ball particularly well. Rourke was their leading rusher. You have, Keon Hatcher, who ends up with, fewer than 60 yards, the guy who led the league in receiving. Katoy didn't get yards. I mean, all the things that BC likes to do. And this is one of the things I think BC would make BC so tough is that, they can run the ball. They've got a pretty good short passing game. They can throw it deep. Nathan Rourke can run it. So they're multidimensional. If you're going to shut them down, you got to shut down a lot of different things. And yet Calgary's defense really rose to the occasion. And Vernon Adams, who, I think this was the third matchup between these 2 teams in the last little while. And Vernon kind of got outclassed in the first 2, but he certainly held his head high in that game. And other than the Sean White field goal at the very end, I mean, I think we thought we were headed for overtime, particularly when they ran it on the first down at that last series. And ultimately, Sean White ends up the hero.
Now we look ahead to this week, East and West semifinal. Of course, Hamilton will host Montreal, the early game on Saturday at 1 Edmonton time, and then BC and Saskatchewan gets going at 4:30. What do you make of, we know that momentum seems to matter a lot in the CFL playoffs, and Saskatchewan, they rested guys, they had some injuries, and they had the bye week. What do you make of the Riders coming into this West final?
Well, I think they've been the most consistent team all season, and I think if you look at the course of this season, there's a lot of teams that were playing very well, and then they had hot stretches and they had cool stretches. I mean, BC had that, certainly. Montreal had that tied to Davis Alexander. Hamilton got off to kind of a slow start and then came alive and then had some dips during the season. But I think if you look overall, the Saskatchewan Roughriders were maybe the most consistent team all season. And for them, it really starts, I think, at the lines of scrimmage. Defensive line, very, very tough, tons of pressure, 4 guys that can get after it. And I think on the offensive line, it's kind of the same sort of thing. They controlled the trenches more often than not. And I think that makes them a tough matchup coming off of a week off. But, it'll be interesting to see going outdoors, a little different for BC, Saskatchewan at home with the rest. And let's be honest, not just the rest from last week. They've been resting for a few weeks. So, there'll be a tough out. That game to me, I mean, I would call it a toss-up. I really feel like that one's going to be very, very difficult to predict. The other one in the East, I think you mentioned momentum. I mean, I just think Montreal has a ton of momentum, and there's a stat. Stats don't tell every story, but there's a stat about Montreal that really kind of astounds me. When Davis Alexander was their quarterback, they averaged 34 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that over the course of the season, that's number 1 in the CFL. BC did not average 34 points a game. Montreal would be number 1. When Davis Alexander wasn't their quarterback, they averaged about 18.5 points a game. If they did that over the course of the season, that's number 9. So they go from the lowest scoring offense in the CFL to the highest scoring offense in the CFL. And I'm not saying anything profound to say that starting quarterbacks matter and the team's offenses play better when they've got them. But it usually doesn't take you from the worst offense in the league or the lowest scoring offense in the league to the highest scoring offense in the league like it does with Davis Alexander in the Alouettes.
Dave, if we could talk a little NFL, there was a big game yesterday between the Bills and the Chiefs. The Bills are 5-0 in regular season and 0-4 in playoffs. If they were to match up, do you feel like the Bills are ready to take them down?
Listen, I've covered a number of those games in Kansas City and in Buffalo, so I'm pretty familiar with this series, and I was there last night. Here's what was different in that game. I have as much as people talk about the last drive and what happened last year with the desperate throw to Dalton Kincaid in the playoff game, and they had an opportunity to stop them in the playoff game before. There's all these different episodes of Bills Chiefs, but I think the common link is that the Bills' failure to, and I'm going to use Sean McDermott's language here because this is what he talks about it, their failure to affect the quarterback at the line of scrimmage. And if you give Patrick Mahomes time, he will find open receivers. The Bills aren't, particularly elite on the back end of their defense. So the longer he can run around and buy time, the harder it is for them to keep separation from occurring. But Patrick Mahomes got beat up like he has never got beat up in the Bills-Chiefs series last night. I mean, 3 sacks is one thing. It was 15 quarterback hits. They were in his face all night. There were plays where, he wasn't even sort of doing a straight drop back. I mean, he was running back, setting up 10, 12 yards behind the line of scrimmage or just straight into motion. So I have not seen, AJ Epinesa was in there all night. Joey Bosa was in there all night. Greg Rousseau was in there all night. And maybe the most effective of them all was Michael Hoyt, the Oakville, Ontario native who was the 10th pick of the 2020 CFL draft, 5 picks before Nathan Rourke out of Brown University. Obviously, the Ottawa Red Blacks and other CFL teams did not project him being an impact player in the National Football League. He certainly is that. And, of course, he tore his Achilles in the third quarter of that game. And that is just, guys, it's the only part of football I don't like. Mm-hmm. Is just how seasons can end on one play. I talked to Michael Hoyt last week, and he grew up a Bills fan. I said, you can have a lot of friends and family at that game. He said, no, for the first home game, I'm keeping it pretty small. Small group of friends and family, pretty intimate. He said, but for the Tampa Bay game on November 16th, he says, I'm going to have basically a whole section of people there wearing 55 jerseys. Well, he's not going to be playing in that game, but that's the emotional part of that. The meaningful part of that is, I mean, the Bills have already lost Ed Oliver, who's maybe their best defensive lineman, a former first-round pick, who's right in the heart of his prime. They waited on Hoyt 6 weeks for his suspension. He comes back. He was a wrecker last week against Carolina. He was great against Mahomes. So, they're going to have a shot at the playoffs. The blueprint is there. Affect Patrick Mahomes at the line of scrimmage. That's what they've got to do. That's what they failed to do in the past, and they did it better than they've ever done it last night.
Yeah, well, the Chiefs' offensive line definitely, I don't think, is at the level they want to be at. So we'll see if they get there. You look around the league, and where do you come out on the Denver Broncos?
The Broncos were a playoff team last year unexpectedly. And here's the difference to me about the Broncos from last year and the Broncos of this year. They're beating better teams. Last year, if you looked at who Denver beat over the course of the season, they beat up on teams that were mostly non-playoff teams, which, you play who's on your schedule, and every win counts the same. But you had this sense that this team could not step up in class. And when they tried to step up in class in the playoffs against the Buffalo Bills, the first round, even though I believe they got an early touchdown in that game and took a lead and kind of everybody in Highmark Stadium drew a deep breath. Buffalo pretty much controlled that game the rest of the way. So, defensively, they're very, very good. Bo Nix, I think, is a quarterback who plays beyond his years. And, I mean, this is the fascinating thing, guys, is that everybody's anticipating, well, the Bills beat the Chiefs in the regular season. What's going to happen when they meet in the playoffs? Well, are they going to meet in the playoffs? Because the Chiefs are 5-4. And if the playoffs started right now, they're not in it. Now, you can say, well, there's lots to go here, but the Chiefs are in a bye this week, and they come out of the bye, and their first two games are against Denver and Indianapolis, the two 7-win teams in the AFC. So I think Kansas City's season, I don't want to say it's going to come down to the first 2 weeks out of the bye, but it's going to be affected absolutely by the first 2 weeks of the bye because, one, they're playing division rival. And again, at 5-4, you're not just talking about, well, they're going to get the top seed or they're going to get first place. I mean, the playoffs are, in question at 5-4. I still think they'll make it, but Denver is definitely that first game that they come out of the bye, Chiefs Broncos. That's going to be one of the biggest games of the season.
Yeah. Oh, no question it will be. It's a huge game. You mentioned the Colts. What about Drake May and the Patriots? Also 7-2, winners of 6 in a row. Are you a believer the Pats are back?
Yeah, no, I am. I think, it's amazing that given how much dysfunction there seemed to be in New England last year, that never really affected Drake May. And now that he is in a functional environment with Mike Vrabel as their head coach, and they've got surrounded him with some talent, and I think he's been as consistent as any quarterback, not just any young quarterback, but pretty much any quarterback in the NFL. I mean, he's certainly in the MVP conversation at the halfway mark, which, for a guy who's in his second season, but he just a guy who just makes the right decisions with the football. When you watch him week in, week out through the course of games, he doesn't make a lot of bad decisions. And, I'll tell you, as you guys know, I spent a lot of time in Western New York, and it's been almost kind of assumed for a while, right, that the Bills are going to own that division. And, even if you look at the start of the year, you got the Jets, the Dolphins, the Patriots, and okay, the Bills aren't going to play a really meaningful game till we get to the playoffs because they're going to win that division in a walk. And now, all of a sudden, that's why that game was meaningful for Buffalo last night as well. Not just Kansas City getting their 4th loss, but for Buffalo to avoid getting their 3rd loss of the year. They've got a game with New England at New England coming up in December. And that one may be for the division lead. So, yeah, I am a believer in Drake May. 3rd quarterback taken in the draft, but I think, with all due respect to Jaden Daniels in the season that he had last year, if you were to redraft that right now, Drake May might be your guy.
Awful injury too yesterday for Jaden Daniels. That
I say the only part of football I don't love, guys. The only part of football I don't love.
Did not look good. Lastly, for fun, Jerry Jones in typical Dallas. Hey, I've made a trade, but I'm not going to tell you guys what it is. It's just something that's going to improve an area of our team. So everybody's speculating it's on defense. You look at the Cowboys and what their record is. Can you see this being like they are 3-4-1? So I don't know. Maybe he's got some delusion that they're somehow still in the hunt for things. But what do you make of the Cowboys and what will happen before the trade deadline?
It's so weird because you watch the Cowboys and they have so much offensive talent, right? And I think people kind of have sold Dak Prescott kind of short a little bit. People forget that in 2023, he was the betting favorite to be the league's most valuable player through a good course of the season. And it's almost like comical. You go, wow, this is a team that has the offense to win a Super Bowl. If only they had, even a slightly better than average defense, that would be spectacular. If only they had a real impact player that could affect the opposition at the line of scrimmage. Oh, wait a minute. They had them. Look, Jerry Jones loves attention. I think the only thing he loves more than winning football games is people talking about his team. And, I would expect that if the Cowboys are going to make an improvement, it would be on the defensive side of the ball. But I've never seen anything quite like that.
Yeah, it's very weird. Awesome stuff, Dave. We appreciate it. Enjoy the final week in the CFL before Grey Cup, of course, and another interesting week in the National Football League. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys, for having me.
There you go. That is Dave Naylor. 324, Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440. When we come back, we are going to continue on talking a little bit of heartbreak for you sports fans on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy.
60 years ago,
24-hour repair
only
with
at
no
the Brick
overtime
Mattress.
Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tank. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating.
The orders just aren't scoring.
Physio.com.
Welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by. Welcome back to the Gregor. Alberta.
Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy, from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Michelle and Colette are sisters. Sisters who don't agree on much, especially when it comes to which hockey team is the best.
Edmonton is the best, baby. Vancouver's number one.
Even when it comes to meat snacks from Wilhawks.
I love the Harris Schwiener. The ham sausage rules.
But they will agree.
Wilhawk beef jerky is the best.
It might just be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Others can try to imitate, but no one can duplicate Wilhawk beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win friends with salad.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text VALUE to 780-777-7777 to start. That's VALUE to 780 all sevens. Why, guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Prostate cancer affects 1 in 6 men in Alberta, and this November we're fighting back. Every dollar raised fuels early detection and life-saving support. Donate today for the men in our province. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to start your fundraiser or donate today.
I am the fountain of affection. I'm the instrument of joy. To keep the good times rolling. I'm the boy. You know the world could be our...
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.328. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram is his game day. The Oilers on the road, a rare Monday night game. They're taking on the St. Louis Blues. We'll have a pregame show coming up in about 2 hours and a few minutes. Of course, they're in Dallas, and then they got the rest of the week off until a home game on Saturday. Meanwhile, still some time. Many of you, it's been a tough 6 months for Oilers fans / Jays fans as Oilers lose the Cup final in June, and the Toronto Blue Jays. And what was a remark, like if you take a step back and not just the outcome, but that was one of the most exciting games and most exciting game sevens I think I've ever seen. It was an unreal game. It was just not an ending that Jays fans and the players and everybody around the organization wanted, unfortunately. And that's why pro sports it can be great and it can be absolutely ruthless at the same time. As we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you or your group to your next destination. Book your ride today at silentrides.ca. Long-time beat reporter, podcaster now for the Toronto Blue Jays, Mike Wilner, joins us. And Mike, it was an epic series. And I think what's so frustrating is the Jays had ample chance to win that game.
Yeah, they did. And they had ample chance to win in game 6 as well. It just, bounces didn't go their way. The luck didn't go their way. It felt to me like I'm not super frustrated. I'm very zen about this. Because it felt to me like the Blue Jays did outplay the Dodgers during the series. It felt like the difference was Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and that was it. And when Miguel Rojas hits a game-tying home run in the 9th inning of Game 7, right? A guy who hadn't gotten a hit in a month. A guy who hadn't hit a home run against a right-hander all year. When it's him and it's not, say, Ohtani or Freeman or Betts, it sort of feels like, well, it just, wasn't meant to be. It wasn't your night if that kind of thing's going to happen. And so I feel like it was a great season. It was a magical year. It's too bad that they didn't win, but it's also kind of okay. I know that sounds weird, but for some reason, that's what's sitting with me.
It's interesting because Hoffman said he felt like it cost him, because you think about it, giving up a home run to a guy that never hits a home run off to a righty, at that point, you shouldn't be giving up a home run. And
you shouldn't.
Right. And
you're right. Absolutely. You shouldn't. But if say Isaiah Kiner-Falefa had hit a big home run for the Blue Jays, what would we be thinking? Like, how wild is that? That's not supposed to happen. It's team of destiny magic, right?
No.
I understand Hoffman, and he's right. I mean, ultimately, he's right. He did cost everybody a World Series ring, but there were several other moments in that game where the Blue Jays, I mean, they were 3 for 17 with runners in scoring position.
That's it.
Right?
Mike, I felt, and I was watching the game, and I was like, God, they had all these chances in the first, like every inning, really. They had guys on base, and they weren't getting runs in. And it's like, usually that costs you a game. Like in other sports, you know, you're out shooting a team 20-2 in hockey, and it's 0-0. And you're like, oh my God, that's coming back to haunt us. And unfortunately, it did. And so now, Mike, it's crazy. It's kind of like, you know, in Edmonton, they're used to it. They lose the cup final, and the draft is the next week. Well, free agency is in 3 days. And the Jays got some key guys. So let's start with Bo Bichette. I know you're tapped in. What's your thought on Bo Bichette and free agency and returning with the Jays?
Well, I mean, first, it's important to remember that baseball free agency, right, is nothing like hockey free agency or basketball free agency. The fact that it opens in 3 days doesn't mean anything, because the big guys aren't going to sign until around Christmas probably, or just before, or even January or February. So I think that that's important to remember, A. But two, Bo Bichette wants to stay.
Okay.
And my beat partner at the Star, Gregor Chisholm, wrote today that the Blue Jays need to open the vault, pay whatever it takes to get him, much like I said with Vladdy last winter. And I believe that to be true. I think that, you know, what we saw from Bo in this World Series, he hit 385 after having been out for 7 weeks.
Yeah.
He hit what could have been a Mount Rushmore home run in the third inning off of Shohei Ohtani in Game 7. He was willing to play second base. This is a guy you need to keep. This is a guy who wants to be a forever Blue Jay, just like Vladdy. And there is quite literally no reason not to sign him.
What do you think? So, like, I'm trying to even look at, like, is he 25 a year? Is he like, what do you think's a realistic number on salary and then on term?
I don't know. I mean, you look at shortstops who have signed contracts, and, you know, the Blue Jays may want to compare him to second baseman instead of shortstops, because he's not going to stay at shortstop. And if he remains, given the alignment they used in the World Series, chances are Bo understands how good a shortstop Andres Gimenez is, and he would make the move, right? So is it going to be a Xander Bogaerts contract? Bogaerts was older when he signed his. Is it going to be $8 and $240? I mean, that it seems heavy, but it also seems fine.
Right.
You know, it's not my money, and there's no cap, so I don't care, honestly. And Rogers, you know, we all know that the Blue Jays are just a rounding error on the Rogers balance sheet. They've got the money, so there's no reason. Whatever, I'm not going to say whatever he wants, but whatever it takes, they should pay.
Is there, you know, when you're going on a run like that, every GM and everyone falls in love with their players, and with some of these free agents, is there anyone that you would be concerned that they should maybe not bring back, like maybe an older guy like Matt Scherzer, or what are your thoughts?
I don't know that Scherzer will want to continue playing, first of all, though he said he did. But yeah, I wouldn't bring Max back unless it was in like a coaching capacity.
Okay.
He was really important to this team, chemistry-wise, I think, and he taught them a lot.
Right.
But you can't bring everybody back. I mean, it never works. As special as this team was, and as much as they love each other and all the wonderful things, you can't, because it never works. Changes need to be made. And you look back at the 92 and 93 Blue Jays, I think there were 12 different players on the 93 team than the 92 team, because you just can't run it back. So I'd love to have Chris Bassett back. I'd love to have him back in the bullpen, given what he did in the playoffs as a reliever. I don't know if how well that's going to sit with him. I don't think Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's coming back. I'm trying to think of.
What about Bieber? What about Shane Bieber?
I don't think there's any chance that Shane Bieber comes back.
Okay.
I mean, Bieber is he loved it and he was wonderful and he was really upset about giving up that home run. But he's a Southern California guy, I believe.
Okay.
And he's going to make an incredible amount of money, I would think, this off season. And I would be shocked if he came back.
Okay. There is a few guys on the J, like Ernie Clement had a fantastic season. I probably, he broke the record for most hits in a postseason. Unreal.
Yep.
I'm still stunned that he didn't get a Gold Glove for the utility guy. I don't know who's voted on that. I'm very perplexed by it. But
yeah,
him
very angry about that.
Him and Barger. Like, I really thought Addison Barger took big steps. Like, in the World Series, man, the guy hit 500, and he has a cannon of an arm. Like, those two guys, when you have Vladdy and you got Bichette, you got those two guys coming up as younger guys, Mike. Like, especially Barger, younger guy. Like, that's a really good key part. I think Barger is going to be a real big key piece of this team moving forward.
I mean, he really impressed me in the World Series. He had a terrible August and September and didn't do much early in the playoffs. And to hit 500 in the World Series and again, like everybody else, didn't get those big hits in the last two games when everybody needed them. But yeah, he really impressed me. I think that Barger has a good chance to be something. Ernie, it's funny you mentioned young guy. Ernie's older than Vlad and Bo, right?
Yeah.
So
I know. That's why I corrected myself quickly.
Yeah.
It's like he looks younger, but he isn't.
I mean, he's younger in experience for sure, right? He's a really scrappy guy and an incredible defender, and there's a place for him. But I don't know that he's a major league third baseman every day. Like he didn't hit right-handers well at all. He crushed lefties, but in the playoffs he stepped up huge. He's a guy I want in there. But if you've got, if Bichette's your second baseman, that's a corner infield bat, so you can afford to have Ernie at third, where he's an exceptional defender and he's going to put the ball in play, which is a wonderful thing. To go if Bo's back, like for me, the biggest issue, if they do bring Bichette back, the biggest issue for me next year is Springer. I mean, George Springer was the Blue Jays' best hitter by leaps and bounds this year. He had the third best OPS in the American League. There is not a chance that happens again next year.
Right.
Like, not a chance. He was the worst hitter in the major leagues for 5 months in 2024. And regardless of what he was dealing with, like, you want him around. And he's obviously going into the last year of his contract. But given what he went through this year and what he did, they're going to need to replace that offense, because I can't imagine that happens again.
Yeah, so they got to replace it internally, right? And maybe it comes from Barger. What about a guy like Nathan Lucas?
Why do you have to replace it internally? You can go get somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go get somebody. Nathan Lucas, I love. And, Nathan Lucas, he's not going to provide that power, right? But he wound up being the leadoff man in a World Series game that they won. This is a guy who grinded out for 10 years in the minor leagues before getting his first shot. And so many times teams just didn't give him the opportunity, and he finally got one and he broke the door down. So I'm a huge Nathan Lucas fan, and I believe that he should be their left fielder against right-handers next year, or right fielder, whichever corner they decide to use him in. This is a guy who didn't have a spot on the team this year going into spring training. And hopefully with Anthony Santander coming back, they understand that Lucas has to be a part of things, and he gets to continue to play a large role.
So we talk about, some of the young players that stepped up and some players that they have to sign. Like next year, are the Toronto Blue Jays a team that we can expect to go on another run next year if they get the right pieces and the right guys in place?
I mean, there's no reason why not, right? The Blue Jays took advantage of the fact that there were no really good teams in the American League this year, like none. And they were able to finish with the best record, and they beat the Yankees and they beat the Mariners. they really turned it on in the playoffs. I mean, they played, but they showed us all year, right? When the Blue Jays play their game, nobody can beat them. And that includes the Dodgers. And unfortunately, they had half the starters out for 10 innings in game 3, and they didn't play their game in game 6 and 7. So I don't think you're going to be able to replicate this incredible clubhouse no matter what. This was a magical thing. But I do think you can put a team together that can be this good again. Remember, this was supposed to be like the 4th straight year that this team was going to be great. It just, they stubbed their toe in 2024 and figured it out this year. So you got to fix the pitching because no Bieber, no Scherzer, and we don't know what's going on with Jose Barrios injury-wise. And you're going to have to address the bullpen a little bit. But, yeah, I think that, this was a team that, it all hinges on Bo, right? If they don't bring back Bo Bichette, then no, you got to do some major surgery to fix this. But if they do, there's no reason that they can't be very good again. But to get back here, there's been one repeat World Series winner in the last quarter century, and it just happened. And it took them extra innings in game 7. There aren't a lot of repeat pennant winners, although the Houston Astros had a nice little run there. Yeah. It's really, really, really tough to do. So I don't think you can expect this again, but it would be awful nice.
How much credit do you have to give John Schneider, the manager, for the job that he did?
I think he's a terrific manager. I think you give him as much credit as any manager gets in today's world of baseball. I think that he knows his staff and he knows his players, and he makes sure that everyone is prepared, and he makes sure that everyone knows that he trusts them and has confidence in them, which is really all you can ask. I think that managers very rarely get credit for wins and always get blamed for losses. Yeah. And I don't think that's especially fair. But I've been a big John Schneider fan since the day he got the job.
Any changes to the staff you feel are coming?
I don't know. I can't imagine. I think that one of the reasons that everything went so well was because this staff is so terrific. Maybe if Don Mattingly gets into the Hall of Fame, then he leaves. But to be honest, I'm not really 1,000% sure what it is that Mattingly actually does. But beyond that, no. Unless somebody wants to leave, I'm assuming that when we speak to Ross Atkins later this week, he will say that everyone's being invited back.
It's interesting, Mike, and I know you follow baseball. Lots of people are talking about, geez, the way the Jays, they led the majors in hits all year long. They led the majors in batting average. They're a contact team. And obviously I think they were 10th or 11th in home runs. So they got enough good power. And people are watching the playoffs, and they're the highest scoring team. They blew out lots of teams. And even though it scored LA, lots are like, oh, lots of teams want to play like the Jays did. And, we heard Varsho and all these other guys talk about, their hitting coach and what a difference he made. Do you buy that other teams, and if they're going to emulate the way Toronto plays, how do you think they can do it?
You got to just have a bunch of high contact guys put the ball in play. And that's not something that a lot of major league teams have emphasized over the last years, because ultimately power plays, right? Power tends to win playoff series, and instant offense is a wonderful thing. So I don't think the only difference is that home runs are expensive. Yeah. Home runs are expensive, and front offices, ownership is cheap. So if they feel like they can build a winning team and do it by spending less, they're definitely going to want to do that. So I think maybe we'll see some teams emulate it, but I still think the power plays and And there's no better way to score than by hitting the ball out of the ballpark. So I don't think we're going to see like a complete reversal and have all of a sudden, everybody try to be the 1985 St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, Mag, you mentioned, Varshaw's a center fielder, but then you've got Springer, Santander, Lucas, Barger. And if Bo returns, then Barger's an outfielder and he's got a can of an arm. There's not a room for all of them. Could there be a trade potentially?
There's always potential for that, especially if you can bring in young, controllable pitching. But, I mean, Santander has no value on the trade market. Springer has no value on the trade market because he's 36. Lucas has very little value on the trade market because of his age. He's just not someone that people find attractive. So it's going to be tough to move a surplus outfielder. But I think, ideally, if Bichette comes back, then Barger and Clement wind up platooning at third base. And Springer and Santander sort of shared DH time, I thought that was the alignment that the Blue Jays should have gone with this year, but then everybody kept getting hurt. So I do think there's room for everybody because of Barger's ability to play the infield.
Okay. Mike, great stuff, my man. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for your time.
All right. You bet. Have a good winter.
There you go. That's Mike Wilder, long-time Jay Porter. Good rundown, and it'll be obviously a lot of it hinges on Bichette and where they go. And then, hey, starting pitching. You're going to need to bring in some starting pitchers. You got Gossett and you got Savage for sure, right? But after that, Gosman, not Gossett, Gosman and Trey Savage. But after that, the Bieber's gone, and is Bassett coming back? Like, I don't. You need 5 starters. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing Chris Bassett back at all. For me, if he's your number 5, but you're going to need a number 3 and a number 4. So we'll see where they go there. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got 5 questions and more. It's the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
More fruit?
Check.
Satisfying texture?
Check.
3 amazing new recipes?
Check.
Let Booster Juice bowl you over with something completely different. 3 new acai bowls, loaded with delicious toppings including bee pollen, cacao nibs, and shredded coconut. Piled high on top of a refreshing blend of authentic acai, straight from Brazil. Spoon?
Check.
Booster Juice, Canada's original juice and acai bowl bar.
Stories are told to make a point, and GS Construction takes them very seriously. We're not talking about fairy tales. GS Construction looks at the story old pipes tell us, a tale of time and pressure and endurance. So when those old pipes are ready to end their story, GS Construction starts a new chapter by repairing or rebuilding, or in some cases, renewing the underground infrastructure that supports our modern lives, making sure every community's story continues on safely and reliably. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Bring in the new year with a Canadian country legend. December 31st, in concert at the Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Brett Kissel. She drives me crazy. Multiple CCMA and Juno Award winner, platinum-selling recording artist, and top 10 hitmaker. Celebrate the new year in Alberta, country style. Bring your friends, your cowboy boots, and your party spirit for a night full of hits, celebration, and unforgettable memories. The countdown to 2026 starts with Brett Kissel live on stage. Get your tickets now at silenticecenter.com/events.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I've got to get 2 cheeseburgers, medium fries, and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. Hey, maybe I'll eat 1 cheeseburger right away and save 1 for later. Maybe I'll stack them and eat them both at once. Options. Oh, delicious, delicious options.
So 2 cheeseburgers, fries, and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a 2 cheeseburger meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
It's your last chance to grab tickets for the Jason Gregor Pizza Pig Out, presented by GS Construction. Thursday, November 6th at the Canadian Ice House, indulge in unlimited pizza from amazing local pizzerias while you help raise some dough for Kids Sport. Then vote for your favorite slice to help crown the People's Choice Award winners. Tickets to join Edmonton's biggest and best adult pizza party are just $30. Head to jasongregorpizzapigout.com for more details and to buy tickets.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Enjoy a taste of Hawaii with Papa John's Aloha Trio. Try the classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken pizzas for only $19.99 each at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$352. Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having an awesome day. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where right now you can get 65% off genuine leather and reclining sofas when you buy the matching Love Seater chair, and you get 25% off bedroom and dining furniture at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Oilers in St. Louis tonight, taking on the Blues. What is your prediction for the score this evening?
You got the struggling Blues and the Oilers that are still figuring out their game, struggling goaltending. I'm just going to say I'll go 6-4 Oilers.
So, yeah, high score. Yeah. So, yeah. I'd love to go that high. I'll say 4-3. But, yeah, I don't see it being a defensive battle tonight.
All right. Question number 2. If Roslovic were Draisaitl's winger for the majority of this season, is that something you'd be good with?
Well, the way he's playing right now, it's hard to picture a guy that is going to be better. Like Hyman comes back, he plays with McDavid. That's a no-brainer, right? They've been looking for a winger. Roslovic he's got great speed. You know what? He's the last 5 games, like he's looked dominant at times, right? He can beat guys one-on-one. I feel the biggest thing for him is that he's improved his defensive awareness play. And that's what I like to see. Obviously, you know what? There's a little bit of a wild card in him. Like he's been on playoff teams, hasn't done much in the playoffs the last few years. So that'll be the only thing. But man, his speed and everything else, it's a really good mixture for Draisaitl. Early on, I've really liked that line. So yeah, I'd have no problem with it.
I like it too. I think at first you were kind of wondering what we were getting, but I think it just goes to show when you miss training camp how hard it is to actually play in this league. But like you said, his defensive game, of course, it's going to struggle, right? Areas of his game are going to struggle because he just, his starting point was different. So I like what I've seen the last few games. I think, like you said, he skates well, he handles the puck well, he can make plays, keeps plays alive. So I like it. And anytime you got a guy like Podkolzin, right, that can do the work, get the puck, right, and you got 2 guys, Draisaitl and his skill, and then you got another guy that, is skilled himself. That's a really nice line to watch.
All right, question 3, and I'll word it this way. You're running the Blue Jays. What are the first few things on your checklist to do?
I think it comes down to pitching. You could see, with Yamamoto in LA there, like it just, he did a super job. I think Hoffman took a lot of the blame. I think, is that an area of improvement where they maybe can bring in a guy in the later innings or the last inning that can kind of shut them down? And maybe I think if anything for me, maybe there's an improvement there with a closer.
Well, my number one priority is let's find out what Bichette's doing, right? Like he's a very good contact. And as a second baseman, I think he'd be more than fine as a second baseman. So I'm starting with Bichette and go from there. And then starting pitching. You got to figure out what's your 5-man rotation going to be. I don't know if they got anybody in the minors who I think is close now. Who thought you Savage was close? So maybe there's another youngster in there. I think it's probably unlikely because he was such a freak in how good he was. And I think they need another reliable lefty out of the pen.
Question number 4. Week 9 the NFL wraps up tonight. Cowboys in Cards. Dallas 3.5-point favorites with the over-under at 45 at playalberta.ca. What do you guys think would be the wise bet tonight?
I'll go with the 3.5 favorite there. I think the Cowboys, Prescott, right? I think, what did he I think he struggled a little bit with his offense, finding the rhythm. I think he'll find it.
Yeah, to me, it's more the over in this game. I think like the Cowboys, they can score a lot and they give up a lot. So, and I really need the Arizona kicker to get a few 50-yard field goals. That'd be nice. So I will take the over.
I told Carius he's getting you 12 points tonight. That's my prediction for him. He had it around 7, but I said 12.
All right.
Final question for you guys. Today's National Sandwich Day. So what is the go-to sandwich? And then maybe more importantly, what is one thing you'll never put on a sandwich?
I'll go with the smoked turkey. Yeah. I guess the one I would not go to was, I don't know, sardines. Like for people,
have you ever had people have sardine sandwiches?
I've heard of that. Yeah, I know that's disgusting.
Gross. Yeah,
but I actually don't mind just a tomato and cheese sandwich too.
Like a bacon, you want just tomato and cheese?
Just tomato
bacon?
And cheese.
Really?
Toasted.
Oh,
nice bread.
I could see that. I like that combination. I mean, I can't say I've ever had tomato and cheese sandwich.
It's refreshing.
Are you are you short on bacon or
no?
Just trying to stay.
I don't mind. Well, I don't know if I'll eat anything. I don't know if I'll stay. Healthy is not working.
Go-to sandwich for me, honestly, is peanut butter and homemade jam, raspberry jam. It's like can't beat it, man. Especially now, lately, my wife's making sourdough bread. Oh my God, I'm totally into sourdough bread. I love it. Homemade, it's so good. One thing I'll never have on a sandwich, onions. Ugh, gross.
Pickled onions.
Yeah, no thanks.
Love them.
No onions. No onions. And actually there's the one I really don't like. There's the one type of there's like the one cheese that just stinks, and I hate, and I just find it tasteless. Like blue cheese. Ugh, yeah. No,
Really?
No on blue cheese on the sandwich and no onion.
Oh man, I love onions, especially pickled onions. I don't mind actually pickled onions just out of a jar and just eating them.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Pickled onions. Like I love pickled carrots.
I love, pickled anything's good, but pickled onions.
Pickled onions. I don't know about pickled anything. Dill pickled chips are good.
Yeah.
Cons, what about you? What's your go-to?
Lately we've been doing a like the baked chicken breast, and I bought this shredder, so it shreds up the chicken. Throw a little salt and pepper, mayo, mustard. A pretty nice little sandwich on toast.
Yeah.
And then one thing I will never put on, although I love its products, I hate tomatoes. I love and you put a tomato in something like sauce, ketchup, that sort of thing, I'm all in. But by itself, no go.
Really? Tomato with a little cheese and pesto.
Yeah. God, I love tomatoes. Tomatoes are kind of on the red for me for intolerance now.
Actually, now that I think about it, I should have went with my wife. Makes a great chicken salad with cranberries in it, right on toasted sourdough bread. That's another.
Another one that's classic is tuna melt. Tuna melt is so good. Easy, simple.
Yeah.
Good for you. Not too much mayo though. I actually put more mustard. I put more mustard on mine now.
Yeah.
My tuna melt. Good eggs.
I actually just had 2 egg salad sandwiches before I came.
Oh, we had it's like hard-boiled eggs, man. There's a fine line. You don't want to overcook. You got to find it right in that perfect spot. And it's great. So there's lots of hey guys, leftover Thanksgiving Day turkey sandwich. Now Jurassic Bark, that's very good. Something about leftover turkey with mayo and a little bit of cranberry. Oh, that is
gravy.
That's good.
I'm a leftover.
Do you put? Oh, I love leftovers, but I don't put gravy on a sandwich.
Oh yeah.
I could see it being good, but I've never done it. So
yeah, I love Thanksgiving and the leftovers. Ooh.
Meatloaf sandwich with a bit of ketchup.
No thanks.
How do you make a meatloaf sandwich? Like you just take the meatloaf and then like you just put it between the bread. I've never had a meatloaf sandwich.
And I don't think that goes with somebody likes
it. Tater over here. Oh, yeah. I could just see Tater having a meatloaf sandwich. Oh, you need a pretty big apron when that's happening.
A meatloaf sandwich with ketchup on a sandwich? No.
You don't like ketchup?
Not on a sandwich.
What about, hot dogs on a sandwich, isn't it?
I don't really have hot dogs either.
What about when you're playing in Montreal?
Yeah. I mean, that might have been the last time I had one.
What's the last time you've had a hot dog?
That might have been the last time.
A barbecue hot dog?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not a hot dog guy.
No.
All
right. What about
sausage? Yeah.
Sausages?
Like a bratwurst.
Okay.
Stuff. Yeah.
Okay. That's all right. I get it. Guys, turkey mayo, sliced dill pickle.
Yeah.
That's good. Gregor, you never had beef dip that has gravy for a dip? Well, not really, because the beef dip has like that brown kind of, it's not gravy.
It's watery.
Yeah, it's like white water. It's like brown water.
Isn't it au jus?
Yeah, au jus. Exactly. That's not gravy.
Are
Au
you
jus.
cold or hot sandwich guy? Toasted? Not toasted.
Yeah, I'll have both. Like if I'm having a tuna melt, I like it on toast for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't want my peanut butter on toast.
Oh my God.
Although I do like
it.
peanut. You know what I like? My favorite sandwich
gross,
growing up
actually.
as a kid was I'd have toast with brown sugar and cinnamon. Well, first of all, you put butter on, so it kind of melts into the toast.
Yeah.
And then the sugar sticks to it,
Yeah.
and then you put a little cinnamon on
Can't you
top.
just get the cinnamon toast and just toast it?
Oh, probably, but that, dude, we grew up in the farm, dude. Didn't have enough money. I was just like, and nowadays, like eating brown sugar, like, come on, just to eat it would not be good. But God, it's unreal as a kid. I couldn't do it now, but man, back then it was unreal. So, Brownie, will McDavid get a point 5-on-5 tonight?
Absolutely. Yeah, McDavid's
Absolutely.
the guy. Yes,
Yeah,
McDavid's their best forward.
Oh, geez, give me a break. All right. Can you show me any number to back that up?
No, not at all. Just my eye test. That's what my eyes are telling me.
He might be. He looks the best. He's the fastest, but right
he's
now
the most dynamic.
he's not the most
He's
productive.
not playing his best game right now, but I don't think many of them are.
No, but I do think Leon Draisaitl for the last few regular seasons has been a more productive player 5-on-5 than Connor McDavid. Both ends of the days. Let's get to the comment and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. When you're thinking about swapping your tires, well, Fountain Tire, they've got 15% off right now. Great time to make the switch or grab a new set before the rush hits. FountainTire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day Oilers down in St. Louis taking on the Blues. Puck up just after 6:30. Calvin Pickard will get this start. Pre-game coverage, Andrew Walker gets going at 5:30 here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere, Leafs host the Penguins, Canucks in Nashville, and the Kraken hosting the Blackhawks. The other week 9 of the NFL wraps up tonight. Cards in Dallas taking on the Cowboys at 6:15. Chargers left tackle Joe Alt will miss the remainder of the season after undergoing surgery for a high ankle sprain. While the Philadelphia Eagles acquiring outside linebacker Jalen Phillips from the Miami Dolphins for a third-round pick in 2026. In the association, 9 games on the schedule, including the Jazz in Boston. Pacers host the Bucks. Nets taking on the Timberwolves, Mavericks, and Rockets. Got the Nuggets and the Kings. Lakers meet the Trailblazers, and the Clippers hosting the Miami Heat. And from the majors, Red Sox third baseman Alex Bregman, Yankees outfielder and first baseman Cody Bellinger, and Mets closer Edwin Diaz, all among the players who have opted out of their contracts and will become free agents. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear Cam Pate's 2-minute warning and be joined by Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boost every Oilers game all season long.
Check it out online,
Score big.
loca.ca.
And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive
The Jason
$50
Gregor.
bet when they deposit.
Day afternoon. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show.
That's
Day afternoon. Welcome back to the Jason
for an
Gregor
exclusive
Day after.
$50 free bet.
Monday after.
With Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
And here comes the service
Comes to
sprint tanks to the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
And another interesting week for Sean Brown.
Fans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation
Be giving up
systems.
the guy
About
your ride
rapid
today. It's
response.
give you
Diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast.
I'm the
The best place for wine, cocktails.
Electrical.
328. Welcome.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. It's not lost on me that this radio ad competes with a lot of other dealerships on the air. So what sets us apart? Honesty. At Northgate, we believe in giving you the very best price we can with the most value possible. We aren't giving away free trips or paying off your credit cards, but it is my promise you will get exactly what you paid for every time. Stop in and see us today.
Scored LA lot.
97th Street, or visit us
for a limited
online
time.
at northgategm.com.
Before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by
Hey.
Supply,
your only source for rating.
Gregor, Sean Brown.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie, pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca. The Junior Prospects Hockey League's 4th season is now underway. The JPHL offers elite athletic and academic opportunities for players in the 14U, 15U, 17U, and 18U divisions. All games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV, featuring a showcase-style schedule and competitive matchups across Western Canada. Players work with experienced coaches, trainers, and elite hockey personnel. Learn more about Western Canada's fastest-growing elite hockey development stream at juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
St. Louis Blues tonight. No lineup changes for the Oilers except in goal. Stuart Skinner, he'll play tomorrow in Dallas. Calvin Pickard will get the start tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Pickard has only ever played the Blues once as a member of the Oilers. That was late in the 2024 season, and he got a win 4-3. So as a member of the Oilers, he is 1-0 in his career against St. Louis. I think overall in his career, he's like 3-3-2 or something like that. But as a member of Edmonton, he is 1-0. The Oilers lines will remain the same. Leon Draisaitl centering Podkolzin and Jack Roslovic. You will have McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Mangiapane. Henrique with Frederick and Savoy. Noah Philp between Lazar and Howard on the back end. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Wallman, Kulak, and Emberson. The St. Louis Blues, they will get their top-line centerman back tonight. Robert Thomas is in. He's between Snuggerud and Buchnevich. Suter centers Kyrou and Shen. Dvorsky between Sundqvist and Dylan Holloway. Holloway's on their 3rd line tonight, but he's actually played the most minutes of any forward on the Blues, averaging 19:43 per game. He's just struggling to produce early on the season. Bukestad between Joseph and Toropchenko, so that's a pretty big 4th line. Broberg and Parayko, Fowler and Falk, and then it's Tucker and Kessel as the 3rd pair. And their 3rd pair in St. Louis, that's the pair you really want to get after if you're the Edmonton Oilers. It is the Gregor Show, is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game and you make a $50 deposit, then use the code Gregor50 and you'll get a matching one. Hey, do it every day. It's 2 for 1 all the time at PlayAlberta.ca. Also this week, you got the Oilers tonight. You got the Oilers on Tuesday. Then they have 3 days off. You'll have some time. Guess what? Thursday night is our annual pizza pig out, and we only have 4 tickets left. If you like pizza and you like helping out kids sport, well, we got 4 tickets left. So probably 2 pairs of 2, I would think, unless your 4 singles want to go. If you want those tickets, send me a text right away, and I can send you the number to get in touch with if you want to go, because it's going to sell out. So there's only 4 tickets left, or you can go to Jason Gregor Pizza Pig Out. But if you text me, and I'll send you the number, and they'll contact you. Actually, if you text in, they'll call you to get those final seats if you want them. But the best, probably the easiest way, is just go to JasonGregorPizzaPigout.com. Easiest way to do it. And probably the quickest to ensure that you will get in on Thursday night. If you like a lot of pizza, lots of great flavors, lots of fun, I would recommend getting your tickets right away. Now, let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. I'll tell you about the Legacy at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, of course, longtime journalist in town. Cam, born with cerebral palsy, he's in a wheelchair. He's never let him slow him down. He's always wanted to be on radio, but now with the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
A few years ago, a curious word crept into the hockey rinks, dugouts, and press scrums of professional sport. Group. Yes, not team, not club, not even roster. Group. Coaches began to say things like, "We've got a good group in here." And I couldn't help but wonder, did some of them quietly suspect they didn't, in fact, have a team? Team implies unity, sacrifice, one heartbeat. Group? That's something you tour a museum with. Which brings us to Exhibit A, the Toronto Blue Jays. Saturday night, under the bright and unforgiving lights of Toronto, they lost the World Series to the Dodgers. And since that final out, the noise across our land hasn't been about innings or errors. It's been about identity. They're not a group, some howl. Not even a team, others grumble. But the players say differently. Family. And families, as we know, face their reckoning not in victory, but in the offseason. 7 Toronto Blue Jays now stand as free agents. 7. Do they return to this family? Or was family simply a word stitched on a t-shirt, worn for the cameras, then quietly folded away? Which brings another team, yes, team, not group, into the conversation. The Edmonton Oilers. Twice they reached the door of the Stanley Cup. Twice it remained closed. They too have an unfinished file lying on the desk. But here's where the story changes the melody. Connor McDavid's hometown discount. He could have asked for the moon and the stars, maybe a small planet. Instead, he took less. He chose legacy over ledger. So here's the question, whispered in press boxes and kitchen tables alike. Will any of those 7 Blue Jays do the same? Is family worth a pay cut? And could McDavid's quiet generosity become the new playbook in how professional athletes do business? Your 2-minute warning. Weekdays, Gregor, Halley Kruger, and me, Tater. Sports 1440.
Great question. Everybody's situation's different. And, you look at how much money baseball guys are already making. Do guys want to take a little bit less for a chance to win? Because here's the truth about everything is when you win a championship, it doesn't matter how many of you have won. Maybe you won minor hockey week back then it would have been Pee Wee or Bantam or who knows? You probably remember the kids on that team more than maybe you remember on a team when you were older than a team that was good, but you lost. There's just something about winning that you become immortalized a little bit. People remember it more. It seems more enjoyable for people, both fans, everybody alike. There's something about it. You can never take it away. Like, hey, we won. You could be the best team. Like, do you even remember what year it was that the Patriots, unless you're a diehard Patriots fan, right, won every game until the final game? Do you remember the year? Probably not. And that's just the truth, man. Like, winning matters more. And it's a fascinating question when you look at it, like when's enough for certain players? And you look and say, well, you know what? I could get more here and I might have more comfort. I'm living, my home state or here or there. And there's lots of factors. But if you truly value winning, and there's no guarantee, and that's the other thing. Someone say, well, Gregor, there's no guarantee. So why wouldn't I take the guaranteed money? Fair point. But while there is no guarantee of winning, would you want to be somewhere where you had a better chance to win for multiple years? And if you look at Toronto, Vlad Guerrero, he's not old. right? Like he's kind of entering his prime. Trey Savage definitely ain't old. No, Barger's not old. Bo Bichette, not old. So if you look at kind of the core pieces, Alejandro Kirk's 26, not old. So they got a lot of pieces to compete. Of course, you need health. You need a little bit of luck. You need probably some surprises. Like, let's be honest, who thought Trey Savage would come in and did what he did? He had the talent, sure, but not the experience. And I don't think anybody was expecting him to be that good this quick. It's amazing. It's awesome. So, yeah, we'll see. Like, Bo Bichette, you can say you want to win, but at what cost? Like Connor McDavid said, you can't really have both. You can't say I want to win and take $17 million in the salary cap world of the NHL, because that extra 4.5, that can be 2 bottom 6 players. And that could be the difference in your team, because the truth of the matter is you need a full team to win in team sports. Basketball, a little bit different maybe, because your main 5 guys play so much. But in baseball, you need your bullpen. Right? You're going to need a depth hitter. Hockey, obviously, you need your 3rd and 4th lines. So I like it. It'll be good. And Gregor, maybe McDavid doesn't think he's worth more than Draisaitl. Well, I don't know if he's worried about that, but you're right. He's making less for this year and the next 2 for certain. It's good. Hey guys, I think the Blues take a step back this year, not because they're worth. Other bubble teams like Utah, Anaheim, and Seattle will be better in those bubble, and we'll take those bubble wildcard spots from KR. Well, KR, agree with you on Anaheim and Utah. I could be wrong. I'm still not sold on Seattle being a better team. We'll see, but I'm not Seattle. I'm kind of like, meh. I think they'll be okay. They'll probably be more competitive, but at the end of the day, I think Seattle is what the Islanders were for the last few years. Older team who, at the end of the day, I don't think has the talent to ultimately compete for a playoff spot. Oh, speaking of the Islanders, I know how many, and I get it. The Islanders probably aren't the team that they're watching a whole ton of, and I get it. But Matthew Schaefer, in the history of the NHL, do you know how many defensemen who are rookies have scored 20 goals in a season? Cons, any idea?
Nope.
3.
I was going to guess that.
Brian Leach had 3 in 1989. 23, excuse me. Barry Beck had 22 in 1978. And Dion Phaneuf had 20 goals in 2006. That's it. In the history of the NHL, over 100 years, rookie defenseman with 20 goals, there's 3 of them. And Brian Leach, by the way, had played 17 games the year before, so had a little bit of experience when he came in. Schaefer is a raw rookie. Schaefer already has 5 goals. Do you know how many defensemen have scored 15 goals in the salary cap era? 2. Dion Phaneuf and the Ghost, Shane Gostisbehere, had 17. That's it. Like, it's hard to score goals for a rookie defender. He's already got 5. Now, that's on pace for 34. I don't think he's scoring 34 goals because very few guys ever score 34 goals. But can he get to 20? As a pure 18-year-old with no other NHL experience previously, not 21, not 22, 18. It is what you're watching from Matthew Schaefer early on. And it's not just the goals. You just look at his poise. You look at his maturity, his skating ability. Man, this guy is so much better than I thought. And guess what? No one was using the G word with him. There's like, oh, hey, Schaefer, he's played 17 games last year. That's okay. There was no unrealistic, ridiculous hype. And now he's just crashing through the ceiling. I love it. It's great to see. But it's something to watch for because you just don't see a D-man score that many goals as a rookie in the NHL. We'll take a quick break. We will return. Kevin Woodley will join us. We're going to break down this Blues struggles in between the pipes next. On the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
It's your last chance to grab tickets for the Jason Gregor Pizza Pig Out, presented by GS Construction. Thursday, November 6th at the Canadian Ice House, indulge in unlimited pizza from amazing local pizzerias while you help raise some dough for Kids Sport. Then vote for your favorite slice to help crown the People's Choice Award winners. Tickets to join Edmonton's biggest and best adult pizza party are just $30. Head to jasongregorpizzapigout.com for more details and to buy tickets. Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I've got to get 2 cheeseburgers, medium fries, and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. Hey, maybe I'll eat 1 cheeseburger right away and save one for later. Maybe I'll stack them and eat them both at once. Options. Oh, delicious, delicious options.
So 2 cheeseburgers, fries, and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a 2 cheeseburger meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
3 locations, endless sports action. Sully's Sports Bar and Lounge. Sully's is the place to catch every game this fall. With tons of TVs, there's never a bad seat in the house. Check out the game night food and drink features and bring your friends for all the fun with Oilers watch parties all season long. Sully's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
I'm Rick Showers from Noble RV, and I know a lot about how RVs work. I post videos on Facebook every week showing the weak points and how failures can occur. But even I don't winterize my own RV.
What are you saying, Rick? You don't think you could do it?
Oh, sure, Bob, I could do it, but I couldn't do it at a professional level. When you expect your RV to survive the harsh northern Alberta winter, this is no place for hobbyists. And I don't service used RVs all day, every day. Instead, I hired people smarter than me to do that sort of work. That's the team that winterizes my trailer, the same team that'll winterize yours.
Your RV service team works 12 months of the year repairing and maintaining used RVs.
That's right, Bob. If you want your RV working right in the spring, the real work happens now, in the fall. Our winterization packages start at just $99, and that includes a full report in writing. No surprises, just the great outdoors waiting for you when the last of the snow melts.
And that's NobleRV.ca.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I've got to get 2 cheeseburgers, medium fries, and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. Hey, maybe I'll eat 1 cheeseburger right away and save one for later. Maybe I'll stack them and eat them both at once. Options. Oh, delicious, delicious options.
So 2 cheeseburgers, fries, and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a 2 cheeseburger meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
I hear the train coming.
Backed by popular demand, Folsom Prison Revisited. The story of one of the greatest concerts in history returns to the Jubilee Auditorium November 22nd. Step back in time before, during, and after this iconic Johnny Cash performance. You'll relive an event that changed the life of Johnny Cash and changed music forever. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca and the Jubilee box office. Brought to you by Stars and Stories Live.
Tonight, I'm gonna have myself a real good time. I feel alive.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
426. Welcome back. Monday afternoon, game day. Oilers in St. Louis for a quick 2-game road trip tonight and tomorrow. Then they're home for 2 games, and then they jet out again on a 7-game road trip. Feels like the Oilers have been on the road a lot this year. They have, and they will have almost half of their season's road trip done by the end of November. It's been a wild schedule for the Edmonton Oilers, and so I said, if the Oilers at the end of this month are within a few points of the division lead, that to me, that's a big win for them. Just when you look at the schedule of how many games they've had on the road, and because they have they got 10 more games on the road this month and only 3 more at home. So it's a busy month, number one, but they got a lot of road games already, and they already had 7 road games. So yeah, they'll be at will they be 17 road games by the end of November? So then you get into December, and they got another 5-game road trip, but they do actually start the month at home for 5 games, and they're on the road. And January, they get a lot of home games to kind of start to even out the schedule a little bit for the Edmonton Oilers. Let's go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. You're under as Action Electrical, 53 years as one of the most diversified electrical contractors in the province. They keep growing, keep expanding, and they are hiring, looking for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year electricians. Want a great job? Keep refining your skills. Send your resume, careers@actionelectrical.net. As Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joins us once again. Woodley, how you doing, my man?
Doing good. I'm doing good. I'm sorry a couple minutes late getting to you here, Jason, but it's been a day, my friend. It's been a day.
All right. Love it. Well, yeah, you feel like the Blues goaltending, because it's not been a great start for the Blues goalies. Their defensive system isn't great, but it's not that awful. Like, their expected goals are way lower than what their actual goals against are. So let's start with Binnington. When you look at his numbers, and he's going to start tonight, what's been the issue for him early on this year?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of a little bit of everything. Like, when I look at Hofer, it's pretty easy. They both have similar performances relative to environment. And at this point in the year, out of 70 goalies in the NHL, Hofer ranks 65th in adjusted save percentage, and Binnington is 66th. Never where you want to be. The difference is Hofer's doing it with an .862 expected. In other words, that is a brutal, like, his games have not been kind to the goaltenders. I don't know whether it's the tough starts or the team not playing well, but .862 expected reminds me of that year we were talking about Eric Comrie, and everybody said he wasn't an NHL goaltender. And I said, no, he's got an .858 expected save percentage. Nobody would be. The next year he goes to Winnipeg, a better environment than he had in Buffalo, and look what he's done as a backup there. That's the level we're at with Joel Hofer. Like, that's just an impossible world to survive in. I look at Binnington, his expected right now is .896, 34 points higher, and he's still underperforming it. It's just not good enough right now. And, I don't have specifics in terms of what exactly it is. Sometimes it looks like high danger stuff, not coming up with the big saves we were used to him making when we talk about the Four Nations and those big moments. There was a game against the Canucks where there was a bit of a turnover behind the net after a puck handle, and it ends up getting chipped sort of the side of the net, and he's got no post integration at all. That's a simple, basic play where, yeah, it's a broken play in front of you, and it becomes a mid-danger sort of toughish chance, but because you haven't sort of reattached yourself to a post and sort of reestablished your foundation, your fundamentals, you leave a hole open. And to me, watching from 30,000 feet, and I've watched 3 of their games now, all with Binnington starts, it just feels loose. Like, it feels a little unfocused. And that's not something I say lightly, and I don't necessarily know that to be the case. But that's what it looks like. That's what the eye test looks like. It just looks a little unfocused, a little sloppy, a little loose. And the details, as much as he's a big save guy, to me, the details, Jason, just haven't been there.
Okay. So the details aren't there, Kev. You can't fix all the details in one time. What would be the first details you'd want to fix or tighten up?
Oh, you know, and it's interesting because, I mean, they've got one of the best, like their goalie coach, David Alexander, is exceptional. So it's kind of absurd for me to sort of second guess, or not second guess, but like, I'd love to watch a practice right now because I guarantee you he will be very in tune with what his goaltenders are feeling in terms of what's on in their game, what's off in their game. And he will have drills designed to help them feel better about what's not working, whether it's getting back to feeling good about your basics or even fixing something. Like every time they come into town and I watch them, even on a morning skate, like there's such purpose in the drill work he does. So getting the right work, I wonder, amidst this schedule, I've certainly talked to a lot of goalies and a lot of different teams over the last couple of weeks about not being able to get any work in, sort of any proper work in. And if you get going in the wrong direction, it's hard to find enough time to get reps to correct, even if it's small, simple things. So maybe there's a little bit of that going on. You know, they've been out west once already, you know, one of those teams that hasn't had a ton of breaks, and maybe practice time isn't abundant. They're, you know, an older team. I wonder if there's practice days off that don't allow him to get the ice time he needs. I don't worry about them being given the right direction from a goaltending coach perspective. Because like I said, like we talked about this in the summer when we were talking about like, what do you do if you're a team looking to upgrade goaltending, and if you're hiring a director, and we bounce around names. I'm like, if I was a team looking to hire a director, I'd just go overpay and poach David Alexander from the St. Louis Blues, because I know how detailed he is. I know the success he has had, and I know how good he is at his job. So it's tough this time of year, but like we know Binnington's going to be there for Team Canada. The one caveat I gave going into this year was as long as it doesn't fall off a cliff. This is a cliff right now. Like this is that bad, at least statistically. Tiny sample, but if it looks like this a month from now as we head into December, I'll still be scratching my head for sure. But I think, you know, they'll have not decisions to make in terms of him not being on the 3 with Canada, but certainly you got to be looking at it and being like, can this be our guy? Because it's really that bad right now.
Yeah, well, it's fair. You look and, well, it's funny. The one guy they don't seem to want is Thompson, who's playing great. Like, I just don't really understand that. What's this dislike of Logan Thompson? Like, at some point, it's like, hey, boys, get your little petty dislike stuff and put it to the back burner here. This guy right now is the best Canadian goalie playing.
Oh, short of him falling off a cliff between now and the end of December, I don't see how he's not on the team. Like, his numbers right now are amongst the best in the league. They fell off a little bit after the contract last year, but they were so good at the start. He's had another exceptional start. So I don't know how you're going to keep him off. Like right now, out of goalies in the NHL who have seen at least 100 chances so far this year, so sort of your quote unquote starters, when it comes to adjusted save percentage, Logan Thompson is number one. Followed, interestingly enough, on that list, plus 100 shots. What if I told you the top 3 were Canadian right now, Jason? Adjusted save percentage. Logan Thompson, Tristan Jarry, and Jet Greaves. So not the 3 we had in mind. As a matter of fact, 2 of the 3 we had in mind that were on the Four Nations team, Sam Montembeault and Jordan Binnington, are at the opposite end of that spectrum, although Sam had a better game on Saturday night against Ottawa. But the 3 best goalies in the entire league.
And this is off
a save percentage perspective. Logan Thompson, Tristan Jarry, Jet Greaves, plus 100 chances. That's interesting.
Okay. So faced plus minimum 100 scoring chances, right?
Yeah. So basically that's your way of sort of weeding out the guys who are 1 or 2 starts in. The Eric Comrie's got exceptional numbers too, but he's only had 3 starts. He's slightly below 100 chances.
Really? So it's Canadian, and it's Logan Thompson 1, Jet Greaves 2,
Jarry 2, Jet Greaves 3. And I got to say on the Greaves one, like probably not enough experience, not enough big game experience for Canada to consider it. But this is not a fluke. We talked about it in the summer. Every time this kid gets an opportunity to play, this is what he's done in the NHL. Produce exceptional numbers.
That's very interesting. What do you make of Tristan Jarry? Because a lot of people in Pittsburgh just throw him away for nothing last year. What's changed?
I'm familiar with some of the work he's done, some of the different focus he's had in terms of some of the, like almost into the mechanics and biomechanics. I know that they've sort of adjusted some of their focus from a goaltending coach perspective. They actually took a look around and wondered about replacing their goalie coach this summer. They had an open hiring process after the coaching change was made, but they ended up bringing back John Elkin. And there's been a sort of there's been a focus on tracking mechanics that's been ongoing there. But when I read some of the stories, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Tristan, Pittsburgh hasn't been out west yet, I do feel like maybe some of the expectations have backed off a little bit, but he's had a kid. And I read a story, I can't remember who wrote it. I really love to give credit. We have a running line at Ingle, and I think I've dropped this line here before, that, new babies eat save percentage, because you're a creature of habit, you've got your routine, and all of a sudden everything changes. But for a lot of guys, with it comes perspective. You're no longer living and dying on whether you made enough saves that night. You can take a step back, and there's somebody at home that doesn't care, just smiles whenever they see dad. And it seems over simplistic, but there have been guys that have had career bumps based on sort of finally being able to let go a little bit of hey, this is what I do, but not who I am. And, I can't wait for them to come to town so I can maybe have a chance to dig into that conversation myself. But, maybe that's one small part of it. I'm not saying it's the answer. I know Tristan has worked really hard in his game the past 2 off seasons. He's worked really hard on what he does physically the past 2 off seasons. The results weren't there last year. There's a job share there with Archer Shilovs. They're going back and forth. So maybe they're managing his workload. For whatever it is, they're also playing pretty well as a team for Dan Muse defensively. Yes, certainly that's a part of it. But his expected is below league average, and he's outperforming it, like I said, by a mark that would be second in the league right now amongst goalies with 100+ chances, and that's good for Tristan Jarry.
Oilers are facing Dallas tomorrow. Jake Ottinger, Casey DeSmith. Jake Ottinger started 9 games, has way better numbers than Casey DeSmith. I know it's a small sample size for Casey DeSmith, only playing in 3 games. But what have you made of Ottinger's season thus far?
Yeah, it's been interesting. There's been a little bit of dips. You're right. DeSmith might have been the best backup in the league last year. Produced exceptional results on a very team-friendly contract. But it just hasn't started the same. And what I'm interested in with DeSmith, because did you say Edmonton has them tomorrow night?
Yes.
Because Ottinger's on baby watch, wasn't at practice today. So speaking of newborns and first children,
there you go.
But maybe he comes in with that high and that dad strength that they talk about. So it might be DeSmith. And it's interesting because he had such success last year, but he played such a positionally aggressive game. Not out early off the rush and retreat, but in his crease, contained, but then as soon as he read shot, bam, outside, top of the crease, he challenged guys. And then he's so quick laterally from his knees. I remember when he got here to Vancouver, Montreal came to town, and in that offseason, he had been skating in Montreal because there was a preseason trade. And I remember Jake Allen and Sam Montembeault sort of coming through town and being they talked to each other, but they couldn't believe how fast he was from his knees. And so he was getting away with that depth based on that speed. But I wondered going into the playoffs last year, amidst the discussions about could they actually start him? He's been that good. To me, that's anytime you play to the extremes, it's pre-scoutable. If you get that aggressive, that's where teams are just I'm sorry, we stop shooting at him when he's out like that and start passing it around him. And so I wonder if the league's caught up a little bit, combined with the Stars not being as stingy in front of him. You can get out and take ice if you know that the back door is going to be taken away by your defense or your back checking forwards. And if that's not happening, it's a really tough place to live. Ottinger, to me, Jason, looks like he's got his feet under him a little better. We talked a lot in the pre-scout going into the Western Conference Final about wait for him to widen out and lower into that save stance and then move the puck east-west. It looks to me like he's narrower in his stance, still gets wide late, but he's not as wide, and he's not as wide as soon in a lot of sequences. It's early in the year. Again, another team that hasn't come through town, haven't had a chance to reach out and have this conversation, but he looks like he's doing a better job of keeping his feet under him. We know that he has all the skill in the world. He's got the sort of prototypical perfect goalie package of size, power, athleticism. Just that tendency to get locked in low and wide was costly. It looks like maybe there's a concerted effort to do that and maybe play between the posts a little bit more, because we also talked about getting caught outside his post, not aggression in terms of north-south, but east-west, and leaving open nets because he was too far one side or the other. And that looks a little more balanced to me right now. Again, early going, but if you're the Stars, I think positive trends.
Yeah, so that'll be fascinating. This just coming down. It's a pretty big announcement in the National Hockey League. The Dallas Stars are going to host a Stadium Series game in February of 2027 at the home of the Dallas Cowboys. So, Stadium Series game at the home of the Cowboys. Obviously, one of the most unique facilities going. So that would explain why Kyler Murray was showing up today in a Dallas Stars jersey.
I mean, if I could get to Dallas, count me in on that one. That sounds like
God. Well, how many people have wanted to go to that stadium? Like, well, I'm not a Cowboys fan. This might be the reason to say, oh, hey, man, I don't care who the Stars are playing. I might want to go there just to see a hockey game. So that could be pretty interesting. A little side.
I love that. And listen, like, I know people get tired of those things.
I know. Yeah, I don't have a problem with them at all.
Yeah, I've been blessed enough to cover two, and I understand they may not look the same on television. Maybe some of that luster's off. But, man, if you're there, like, it's such an event. They do such a good job with it. The last one I was at was in Seattle, which was obviously biased because we've established during this run I was a Mariners fan, so being at that ballpark to watch a hockey game, I just think for the people in the market that's hosting it, it's such a special event. And obviously at that stadium, you're right. It's going to be it has the potential to be incredible.
Kevin Woodley joins us from Go Magazine, NHL.com. Kev, I have to ask you about the Calgary Flames, who aren't going very far right now. They're dead last in the Western Conference. They've played 14 games. Dustin Wolf has started 12 of them. Why? Like, their backup goalie, Devin Cooley, has a .933 save percentage and a 1.98 goals against average. I could see if your backup was atrocious. But any reason why you think the Flames are playing their starting goaltender this much right now?
Well, I'm with you. Like, I think it's a fair question. Now, they haven't played well in front of Cooley either. Like, his expected is 869. His adjusted, we talked about, he's not at that minimum 100 chances sample. But if he is, he's number 2 in the league. Like in terms of just eliminate sort of the minimums, guys who have only played a couple of games. Like, his adjusted save percentage right now is second in the entire National Hockey League. And yet, maybe what's most impressive of that is in how long he had to wait for his first start. So you're getting rusty and the apprehension that comes with that. And then how long he had to wait for his second start. So not only are you playing the wheels off Wolf, arguably, but you're also adding stress to your backup, because it's a tough job when you don't get any chance to build rhythm. And I know Jason LaBarber is a great goalie coach. They would have been working on drills to help him maintain some feel element. But at the end of the day, you can't replicate games. And as the questions, not even privately, like publicly, Elliot Friedman reporting they were looking to upgrade their backup goaltending early in the season. Like, imagine the pressure on Cooley. Man, like, these guys don't trust me. I haven't played in 2 weeks. And if I don't play well tonight, I might not play again. Like, that's got to be in the back of your mind, even if it's your job to not think that way. And he has absolutely delivered. So I know he did not have a good training camp. And I know last year did not end well. He's one of the best goalies in the American Hockey League until I think it was around January, early January. He got a concussion and he never really recovered. He tried at times to play when he was not symptomatic, but thought he was through it, but wasn't truly through it. And things did not go well. Did not have a good training camp. It felt like they lost some trust there. And to me, the writing was on the wall. First 2 games of the season, Wolf is good in the first one, comes in here in Vancouver on the second end of back-to-back, despite the 3 and 4 on the following Saturday being an afternoon game, and they played them all 3.
Yes.
And so I don't think they did a good job of showing trust in Cooley as much as, again, admittedly, in the preseason, he didn't necessarily earn it. But now that we're here and now that he's played like that, like, it should not be 2 weeks again before they go back to Devin Cooley. Dustin Wolf, you're going to need to give him more time. And the other thing is, like, Wolf's numbers are starting to pick back up after a slow start, but almost all of the trouble with him in terms of what they're giving up, they are leaving the middle of the ice between the tops of the circles and the hash marks way too open. As much as the focus is on him being a small goalie, his success is on holding edges and beating plays on his feet, and he does not play aggressive positionally, especially for his size. You cannot give up open looks with time and space in the middle of the ice, or he's going to have to change how he plays. And right now he's playing the way he did last year, which was Vezina level.
Yeah.
And they're giving up chances that they weren't in that one specific area. And it's costing them goals. It's costing him goals. So either they fix that or he's going to have to make changes. And I would suggest not asking him to make changes. And in the meantime, I know they've used their e-bug a bunch in practice. They've used Jason LaBarber on the road for practice to give Wolf rest days. How about you just start the backup a little more often?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that I find fascinating. So Dustin Wolf started the first 4 games of the year, and then their 5th game was a back-to-back. They'd already played a back-to-back, so they played him against Utah, and he only allowed 2 goals on 31 shots. Their next game against Vegas, Wolf allowed 5 goals on 19 shots, got pulled after 40 minutes. Cooley came in relief. Then Dustin Wolf's, so he had started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He started 6 games in a row. Then Cooley started again. Then the next game after Cooley started, Wolf got pulled after 20 minutes. So both times Cooley started, the next game, Wolf has been pulled both times, which is it's just kind of an odd thing. And then, you know what, that was back-to-back. He got pulled in Nashville after 20 minutes. They were terrible. He was terrible. And then he played the next game in Philly, which I get because he only played 20 minutes. But it's something to monitor for me. It's not like Wolf's numbers are off the charts. And rebuilds can be very hard on goaltenders. I just don't know why you would run your young guy into the ground when the other guy, when he's being given an opportunity, has played pretty well.
Well, and I'll tell you this. I've had a couple of goalie coaches on other teams Eastern Conference teams coming through, and I've traveled a little bit to catch up with goalies, been down to Seattle a few times now just to get visiting teams coming through, and sort of goalie people around the league are sort of asking the question, like, if there is a team going to be this bad, like, they feel like they're putting a lot on Dustin Wolf right now. This is a young goaltender who is their future. We know how good he can be. I have no doubt in my mind. And maybe I'm biased towards him because I've gotten to know him, and all the things that he does are things that I like. The no stone unturned mentality, the work ethic, the way he approaches the game. But to ask him to sort of carry the mail for a team that is clearly right now doesn't look good enough, is not scoring. Like, it's just a ton. I've had a couple of people from other teams be like, man, like it just feels like they're trying to crush this kid right now, and they should be a little more careful with it.
Yes, totally agree. So something to watch for in Calgary. Kev, great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Perfect. Thanks, Jason.
It's Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Quick break. We'll return. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
An electrical solar team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy: designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep, unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at Cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
452. I like guys with a sense of humor. Hey, Gregor, Chat GPT probably told the Flames head coach it's the optimized goaltending schedule. Yeah, that's to the reference of the coach saying that Chat GPT was talking about the Flames offense or lack thereof. Yowzer. Now, I know it can get a lot of information together. Doesn't mean the information it's gathering is always accurate, but it takes from what it reads elsewhere. And so, you know what? If it reads it from, some places that don't have accurate statistics, well, then it's going to punch out something that's inaccurate. But the humor is not lost on me at all. Hey, Gregor, if Wolf's getting shut like this, you just shut him down after the trade deadline. Imagine that D without Anderson, whoever else they may sell from chat. I'm not shutting him down, man. Like, it's part of the team. No, but I don't have to overplay him. I don't need to play him like. Remember the orders that year after the trade deadline when they traded Cam Talbot and then they just basically rode Mikko Koskinen into the ground? Now, to his credit, you know what? He got in better shape and all that stuff, but still, there's no reason. You're a bad team. Why are you overplaying your starter? Like, I don't understand the Flames. When I looked that up and I was looking at numbers and I'm like, geez, Dustin Wolf's played a lot of games here. And now the Flames have had 3 sets of back-to-back. He played in the first one. Then he split the second one. Then the third one, he got pulled in the first game after 20 minutes. So I've seen teams do that. He played 20 minutes. He goes the next game. It's afternoon games. Okay. But when I look at the Flames, man, I don't see why. Like, this guy's in his second year. And I know you paid him the big money, but like, you don't need to just break him down, for goodness sakes. Like, what's that going to do? Hey, but you better save us. We're playing terrible defensively. We paid you money that doesn't start till next year. You better save us. Like, I don't think it's the best. Now you look at the Flames, they don't play back-to-back again until the 18th and 19th. Are you going to start Wolf in the next 6 games? They play Columbus on Wednesday, then Chicago on Friday, then Minnie on Sunday, St. Louis on Tuesday, San Jose on Thursday, Winnipeg on Saturday, a few days off, then they go back-to-back. So I would assume he's not going to play both of those games. But that's their only back-to-back. Oh, no, they do have another one in Dallas and Vancouver. So they'll probably split the goalies there. But, man, I got to play. Well, they definitely should play Cooley against the Sharks minimum. It's his former team. It's a no-brainer. But I think they got to be a little bit smart here with Wolf. And his numbers aren't great to start. He hasn't been as good. Kevin Woodley just outlined the situation and how he's playing. He can't play the same way. There's a scouting report, man. It gets harder. That's why, like, making it to the NHL is hard. Staying in the NHL. And so having a great standout year and then doing it again and again is really hard. Really hard. Right? It's like people want to anoint Jet Greaves as like, oh, he's a franchise goaltender. I'm like, what? He's a franchise goaltender based on what? 15 games? Like, what are we doing? Like, what's next? You're going to tell me someone's generational? Like, come on. Jet Greaves has made 26 starts in his career. Now, his numbers are good. Don't get me wrong. And, we'll see. But he's only ever been a backup. Now he's, and this season in Columbus, he's splitting duties pretty much 50-50, right? Him and Merzlikins have each, and look at their numbers. Elvis Merzlikins, 6 games started, .917 save percentage, 2.98 goals against. Jet Greaves, 6 games started, .916 save percentage, 267. Now he does have a better on 100 scoring chances, so he has a better expected save percentage, so good for him, right? Like he's been very good on high danger chances. Awesome. But let's not, there's a big jump between being the guy who's even like a split duty 40-40 to suddenly being the guy who's going to start 55 to 60 games year in and year out. It is hard. Very difficult to do. So I'm always cautious to want to overhype guys too much, right? Like I can point out when a guy's playing great and just say, oh my God, he's playing unreal. And this is something that, should be applauded, right? Like look at Schaefer with the Islanders. He's got 5 goals already. The record for rookies in a year is 23. Only 3 guys have ever scored 20. He might score 20 goals. That in itself would be crazy. Right? Now he's on pace for way more, but I don't believe he's going to stick on that pace. But heck, even if he scored 15 goals in the salary cap era, only 2 rookie defensemen have done that. So that would be a great year. Now, can he do it year after year after year? That's what makes guys elite. And look at like elite players are guys who we thought, you know what, maybe, father time has caught up with them. Look at Evgeny Malkin, 38 years of age. He is currently tied with Cale Makar and Macklin Celebrini and Dylan Larkin for 4th in points with 18. And Sidney Crosby is a year younger. Crosby's a year older. And Crosby has 16 points because they've been great players for a long, long time. And even though if you have a little bit of a downside, they still got a chance to come back up for, maybe one final swoop. Now, do I think Malkin's going to finish 4th in league scoring all year long? No. But if he stays healthy, which is at times been one of his biggest problems, if Malkin stays healthy, could he score 80 points again? Which would be wild because he hasn't, he scored 80 points last in 2023. Right? And then he would go, between that, he had 98 points in 2018. And then, his points per game was actually always pretty good. He just always seems to miss games, right? 55 games played, 33 games played, 41 games played. Last year, he only missed 14, which isn't bad, but he also only had 50 points, right? 50 and 68. So he was on pace for about 57 points, give or take, 58. He's having a great year this year. So I hope Jet Greaves turns out as good as some people think, but I think you have to be a little hesitant to want to just explode onto to what he might become. I think that's I'd be cautious with that at all. So let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. November to remember. You can save thousands on new and pre-owned inventory. Great selection, great people. Check it out. NorthgateGM.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Edmonton Oilers on the road in St. Louis taking on the Blues. Puck drop just after 6:30. We've got pre-game coverage coming your way with Andrew Walker at 5:30 here on Sports 1440. Colin Pickard will get the start for the Oil between the pipes. Elsewhere, Leafs and Penguins meet at 5:30. Also, the Canucks in Nashville and the Kraken hosting the Blackhawks. Week 9 of the NFL season wraps up tonight. Cowboys and Cards meeting in Dallas. That one's set to get going at 6:15. Jacoby Brissett will get the start for Arizona with Kyler Murray inactive once again. Chargers left tackle Joe Alt done for the rest of the year after suffering another high ankle sprain. And the Philadelphia Eagles acquiring outside linebacker Jalen Phillips from the Miami Dolphins in exchange for a 3rd-round draft pick. In the association, you've got 9 games on the schedule, including the Clippers and the Heat, Lakers and Portland. Nuggets host the Kings, Mavs taking on the Rockets, 6 up against the Wizards, and the Bucks in Indiana. And men's college basketball getting going tonight. You'll have number 2 Houston taking on Lehigh just after 6. Also, number 20 Auburn meets BCU, and number 7 Michigan up against Oakland. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and get to Oilers pregame coverage. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy. Or for 24-hour repair with no overtime rates. Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tanks. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Tired of waking up tired. Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
If you're looking for nonstop sports coverage, tune into Sports 1440. Edmonton's only sports radio station.
24/7 coverage comes at you with expert commentary, in-depth analysis,
and so much more.
We are Sports 1440.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Diamond Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped, top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs.
Locally manufactured and installed.
For more information, and
Hey, welcome back, Jason Gregor.
Contact sales at 877-748
Sean Brown, Sports 1440.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Stradlin. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for all your lifting and equipment needs, specializing in selling and servicing cranes. Get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock. As you make your way home, you got lots of time. Don't worry. Puck drop not for about another hour and 35 minutes. Oilers in St. Louis tonight to take on the Blues. Binnington in goal for St. Louis. Pickard in goal for the Oilers. Edmonton will take on the Dallas Stars tomorrow night. And they might not have Jake Ottinger, as Kevin Woodley was telling us. He is on baby watch right now. So we'll see. Might not be there, and it might be Casey DeSmith, which could be a little bit of a benefit for the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow night. We shall see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us in our eWell inbox. It is the Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here. PlayAlberta.ca. Our pick of the day is the over for Dallas and Arizona. Dallas scores a lot of points, con man, but they also give up a lot. Now, I know Kyler Murray's not playing tonight, but you don't think that's going to be a big blow?
No. I like when Jacoby Brissett's out there. I think he kind of moves the offense, knows who to get it to. Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison. They've got some weapons there. I don't think it's a huge drop-off. They're going to lack the big playability that Kyler Murray can provide with his legs, but he's done fine without it. So, I think there's still going to be a lot of points in this one.
All right. Now, let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. Culture is more than words. It's how they work every day, from the crews in the trenches, the engineers planning the next project. They collaborate, innovate, and support one another. If you want to work for a great company that has a great culture, go to gsconstruction.ca and look up careers. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, good afternoon.
What is happening, Jason?
Oh, well, you know what? Oiler fans who are Jays fans are like, oh, my God, I got kicked in the junk again. It was a hell of a game, though. It was an electrifying Game 7. It had everything you want except the outcome if you're a Jays fan. And, that's what's like, you watch that series and you watch that game, and, you can make strong arguments that the Jays were the better team for long stretches, but they ultimately didn't win 4 games. And when you go in the history book in the annals of sports, the Dodgers will be the winner, and the Jays players will have a lot of what ifs for the rest of their life as a sports guy. And that's brutally tough, man.
Oh, yeah. Like, how many go back to game 4, the 18-inning game? Was that game 4?
Yeah.
I mean, how many at-bats, right? Like, how did the Dodgers win last night? They didn't mount any rallies. They didn't put a bunch of hits together and play a bunch of small ball. Rojas hit a solo shot in the 9th, and the catcher, Will Smith, hit a solo shot in the 11th. And meanwhile, the Jays, whose MO is that they build a rally and they have a lot of contact hitters, and that's their thing. Like, how many chances did they have to win the 18-inning game? How many chances did they have to win Game 7? I mean, it was just a million chances to get another run, a million chances. At 2 occasions in the 8th and the 9th, they had men at third base with less than 2 out. All I need is a fly ball. They couldn't get one, right? So, they just, in the end, they had all the chances in the world to win that series, and it just didn't roll their way. Didn't come up with a clutch sack fly even when they needed one.
Yeah, and it's and that's brutal, man. It was a great run. It was a great series.
Great series, man. What a series.
Oh, it's a great series. Do you think Bo Bichette stays?
I mean, I don't know what's going on between his ears. I don't see why he wouldn't. I mean, generally, there's 2 things here, right? For a free agent of his magnitude, there's money and there's give me a team with a chance to win. And, I think it's pretty fair to say the Jays are, as good a chance out there to be on a winning team unless the Dodgers want you, right? And I'm going to assume the Jays will pay market price for this guy. Like, I don't think anyone's coming in. Are the Yankees going to outbid them by a whole bunch of money, or the Dodgers? I doubt it. So I would hope he stays, and I can't really think of a lot of reasons why he wouldn't stay. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, that's kind of where I come out. I would like to think he'd want to stay there. He's talked about a lot, and Cam Tate had a really good point in his 2-minute warning earlier. And he talked about, hey, you know what? Everybody talks about, it's the closest family. I'm really close. Now, not everybody can come back, right? When the Jays went from 92 to 93, there was like 10 or 12 different guys, right? It's a 25-man roster. It's pretty big. So you're going to have lots of changes. So they'll have some. But your core guys, you look at it, and he brought it and says, hey, if you really believe you're that tight and you want to win, then put your money where your mouth is. You don't have to be the highest paid guy because it's hard to do both. Now, I know the MLB is a little bit different because the Dodgers can overspend over the cap and luxury tax and whatever. Their ownership doesn't care. So it's not like in the NHL where there's a hard cap. And so you kind of have to put your money where your mouth is. But if you really believe in it, then we'll see. Because you're going to make like whatever he signs for, whether it's 20 or 22 or 20, like, does it really make a difference at the end of the day? Like, oh my God, I got 220 from this team, but I left because this team offered me 240. Like at the end of it, after taxes, that extra 10 million in 10 years, when you're making that much, isn't going to change your quality of life. And you won't be able to buy something that gives you that feeling of winning a championship. It's impossible to buy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was talking to some guys after the McDavid contract, and Adam Henrique said, and about 3 other guys agreed, but he was the first to say that, the last 10 or 15 million, you'll remember a Stanley Cup the rest of your life. You won't remember the extra 10 million you signed for in hockey or in baseball, the extra 20 or whatever. Like at this point, this is the contract that's going to set up Bo Bichette and his kids and their kids and their kids. Like this is it. This is the home run in life when you're a ball player. He's earned it. He's a free agent and a damn good one. He's going to make $20 million a year for however many years. So really the icing on the cake is, can I get that money and can I win somewhere? I got to get a World Series ring. I'm not sure wwhy you leave Toronto.
Yeah, no, it's good. Moving to the Oilers. They take on Chicago on Saturday night. It wasn't, well, first of all, what did you make of them playing the game on the big screen?
I was really surprised. I got to tell you, I didn't go to the game.
Okay.
I watched the baseball game, and my boss and me made a little deal if there was a game 7 because I just didn't want to miss the game. However, I was really surprised. I saw what was going on during the game, and I heard about it, and I saw Connor McDavid's interview after. I don't think he loved that. He didn't sound like he loved it. I've been to lots of arenas when there's been big games on, and they never play it live during the action. Like that's something that I've never seen in an arena in my career before. And they did play during the action, right? Were they not playing it on a split screen?
They were. I talked to people that were there at the game, and they're like, yeah, well, they had to play. That's all everybody in the crowd was really talking about. Like it's game 7 of a World Series over game of 12 or 13 in the regular season. And, I did talk to a few players, some ex-guys said, hey, man, like when the game's on and, like you'll look up at the screen, he goes, would I have looked at the screen? Yeah, probably. I'd check it out quick. And then I'm back. And he goes, do I think it'd be a distraction? Personally, they told me they would. So everybody's different, right? You look up, you see the score. Okay. Then you go back to focus and then your next shift. I don't know. I think it was a smart decision personally to do it. Like it's a pretty big deal and there's no sound on it. It's not like you're hearing it, right? Fans are watching and guys on the bench maybe are watching and I think this whole thing of that to be laser focused means you're never distracted. Because a few players told me, goes, you never think I looked in the crowd for extended period of time for different reasons? You're not staring at the ice totally like zoned in the entire time.
No. I mean, listen, I'll never tell a fan how to fan. Like they pay tons of money to get in that rink. And if they want to pay those prices to watch the Oilers and watch the Blue Jays instead, then go fill your boots, But I just think I guess it's unique. I'm not saying it's good or it's bad, but what the Oilers did was unique. But the situation was unique. Yes. How often do you get a Canadian team into Game 7 that's not hockey, right?
Yeah.
We never get a Canadian team into Game 7 that's not hockey.
Yeah, like you might never again, right? Like it's the first time it's ever happened for the Blue Jays, never happened for the Raptors. So, yeah, like it's not something that's going to occur very often anyway. And if it did happen for the Raptors, the Oilers wouldn't be playing because the NBA and the NHL don't play in the same night in the finals. So
that's right.
It's really the only time you could do it. So I didn't have much of a problem with it. The game itself though? Like, the Oilers 5-on-5 against the Chicago team outside of the Draisaitl's line was good, but they outshot them 8-1. Yeah, they didn't score a goal again 5-on-5, and the other lines got outshot 24-12. 5-on-5.
Yeah, I mean, just the other day against Utah, they scored 5 straight 5-on-5 goals, and we thought, okay, that's a good sign. So, I mean, I won't tell you that it's time to pick. I heard your stats on Connor McDavid at 5-on-5. They're no good. I'll say to you that anytime Connor McDavid has a stat that leaves you wanting, wait around a couple weeks and he fixes that. I'm not here to tell you I'm worried about Connor McDavid. Quite the opposite. I would say to you that the fact that they did get off, they really went off on Utah 5-on-5, and then they didn't do so well against Chicago. But you know what? Maybe you got to look at the bright side, Jay, and say you got to find a way to win every night. One night you win 5-on-5. One night you win with your power play. One night it's a mixture of both. So I will say this team has not played anywhere close to the level we expect of it or they expect of it. And they're right in the hunt. They're right near the top of their division. They're right near the top of the league. So that to me is a very good sign.
The Draisaitl line, though, Spec, has been very good since they got put together. They've outscored teams 5-0, 5-on-5. They've outshot them 31-19. There seems to be something brewing here between Draisaitl, Podkolzin, and Roslovic.
Yeah, it's working out well. And I think this is I'm not saying we deserve a bunch of credit because we're so smart. We've always known, and so have most of our listeners, that the Oilers are better when Draisaitl and McDavid aren't together, right? This is just a further affirmation of that. Draisaitl and Podkolzin work together. End of story. Like those two guys, they just work. And now you put a guy in the wing, like this is a chance for Roslovic to show that he can be more than just a guy. Like Roslovic's played 525 games in the league. We probably noticed him in about 200 of those games. The rest of the time, he's just a guy. But right now in Edmonton, I think he's been pretty good. It's only been like 10 or 11 games, but he's been pretty good. And this is a chance for him to – I think there's another level in Roslovic. I think everybody's always thought there was another level in Roslovic. But I will say this, Jay, he's 28 years old. I think this is 15. So like Kasperi Kapanen, it's probably time to find that next level, right?
Yeah, it would be nice for sure. Consistency is the hardest thing to find, man. It is no question the hardest thing to find.
Let's expect it. I think you can expect it. He skates like the wind. He's got great skills. His size is just fine. Like I think it's fair to expect more from Roslovic. I think everybody else has, and they haven't got it. Let's see if Edmonton can find a way.
Yeah. No, hey, you know what? Sometimes some guys they need third, fourth opportunity until they figure it out. Right place, right time. Hey, playing with Leon Draisaitl. If you do your job, you got a pretty good chance of having success compared to playing with other guys. There's no question about that. Looking at Connor McDavid. Speaking of McDavid, he is 1 point shy of 1,100. He'd become the 69th player in NHL history to have 1,100 points. He would be the fourth fastest, one game behind. This is game 726. Bossy did it in 725. Lemieux was 550, and Gretzky was like 425, which was ridiculous. But looking at McDavid, and we talked a little bit about his 5-on-5, and you're like, hey, give him some time here. But like there's been a lot of game spec where there just hasn't been much danger happening when he's 5-on-5, which is all. Yeah,
it is. Like he's really not clicking with anyone. He's back with Nugent Hopkins again, and that's usually where he lands. That's usually the way it goes. And Nugent's having a pretty good year. So, I mean, I don't have an answer for you. All I have for you is, like I said before, when Connor McDavid needs to get something done, he always gets it done. So I think it'll happen for him. You said he was on pace for 25 5-on-5 points this year. No. He gets 50 or 60 5-on-5 points every single year.
Every year, you're right.
If we get to game 75 and he's trending for 30 points, I'll be very surprised. Like I just think history tells me Connor McDavid delivers, man. So he'll figure it out and find a way to deliver. But yes, so far, not so good.
What do you look at? So the lines aren't changed tonight, just the goaltender. And Janmark and Hyman are skating. Knobloch didn't sound like either one's like, well, they're not playing tomorrow. And this weekend, Knobloch said he's hoping, he thinks that they'll both be back by the time they go on their next road trip, kind of at the latest. So that's still another, 2-4 games potentially for Hyman and Janmark. And wasn't asked about Regula, but I probably put him in that category. So it's a few more games for guys to audition a little bit. Did you see anything from Philp that says, hey, I'd like to see, like in his role for what he is, what did you think of his game?
I think we all like Philp. Look, I like his game. He's a fourth line center, so he's not going to jump off the rink at you and make you go, oh my God, like who's 48?
Yeah.
You know, but he's a good, solid young player. And to me, like I always sort of look at him like, is he, you know, he's a bigger, faster Derek Ryan. He's just got to get the gamesmanship and the, you know, the art of the face-off. And Ryan was a very cerebral player. He was good. Like he's a good fourth line center in his day. Could Philip be that guy? Yeah, I think Philip can be that guy for sure. And I want to say, you know, these injuries, like we know what Hyman's injury is. It's a wrist. It takes as much as it takes in terms of time. Janmark, whatever he's got, he kind of tweaked it. He'll be fine. The one that kind of has me worried a little bit or wondering is Gula. Like this is a long concussion here, man. You know, and we're all assuming that it's a concussion. Like that's pretty much what we all think it is. And if that's the case, boy, you know what? He's been out. How many games has he missed, Jay? Like how long has he been out since they played Vancouver in the second game of the season? Right?
No, so wasn't it the second time they played the Canucks, or was it the first one?
No, I think it was the first game. I think it was he got hit a couple times by Kane. The second one put him out.
By Kane. Yeah.
And that's a long time for a concussion to clear up. So that's concerning. That's all I'm saying. We all love a player, a good young big defenseman. We thought, okay, this guy's going to be great, and we haven't seen him since game 2 of the season.
Yeah, no, it's not ideal for him for sure. Spec, we'll see what happens tonight in St. Louis. Calvin Pickard, quickly, give me your thoughts on, Pickard has not had a great start to the season. He just needs a solid game. Doesn't need to be spectacular, just solid.
Yeah, he needs exactly. He needs a game where the team plays well in front of him. I think he's been victim of a couple games where the team hadn't been that good. But listen, like you're a backup goalie, you can't roll along with an 865 save percentage or whatever he's got right now. He needs to stake his claim a little bit here and say, hey, it can't be about a 20-shot night every night. Some nights you're going to get 35 and you still got to find a way to win a game. Calvin Pickard's at that point. They're kind of counting on that from him here.
Yeah, no, it's true. Spec, we'll chat with you. Blues recap and Stars preview tomorrow. Have yourself a good one.
Right, sounds good, Jay.
It's Mark Spector, the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. We got the pregame show coming up in a few minutes. Got a lot of text to get to. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Hey guys, curious what your thoughts are on Tomasic. I thought he started well. It seems as the game gets quicker, I haven't noticed him as much. What do you think? I think that's probably valid. With him being out of the lineup, Roslovic scores his first game on the second unit on the first unit power play, that net front presence. So even if he does come back in before Hyman, does he lose a spot there? Maybe. And if he does, you know what? You're not on any special teams. It's hard. Like it's hard to stay in the game if you're in a bottom six role and you're not on either one of your special teams. So that in itself is a challenge. It's still only
listen to Jason.
Like I never want to write off a guy just because in 10 games he hasn't looked like a legit NHL'er, right? It's a little bit harder because of his age, no question. I think he's not afraid to shoot the puck. It's one thing I like he can really shoot the puck and he'll shoot it. I haven't minded his size protecting the puck. It's just more so still kind of figuring out, what is he? He's a winger. Is he a center iceman? I don't know if he has the speed as be a center iceman at the NHL level. Maybe he's more of a winger, right? How is he on the board? So I'll say I can see it's with Janmark coming back and Hyman coming back. He's not even in the lineup tonight. Then there's two guys who got to come out of the lineup, right? So if those two guys come in, I think that's, the obvious one is probably Howard. And then the other one would be Lazar. So now Tomasic's out of the lineup. Where's he going to get in then? Right? Because Janmark as a fourth line left winger makes more sense to me than Ike Howard as a fourth line left winger. Howard long-term future makes more sense, but I'm talking in the roles that they're playing him right now. I'd rather have Ike Howard playing in the minors 20 plus minutes a night than be a fourth line left winger. Just me though. So, when you had 11 forwards and he could play with Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, or McDavid some shifts, okay, a little bit different, but that's kind of how I see it. The other interesting thing will be, so does Mangiapane go down to the third line? Does Nugent Hopkins go to the third line center? How do they maneuver it around? Because the one line I'm not changing for a while here is I want to see more of this Roslovic, Draisaitl, Podkolzin. I really like the start, so I want to see more. I don't want to switch it because one game the other lines aren't going. I'm like, you figure out the other lines. Connor McDavid should be able to score without Leon Draisaitl. I don't need to load him up. I'll play those line, keep that line going together with Roslovic, Draisaitl, and Podkolzin. And then when Hyman's back to me, I'm putting him right by McDavid. It's, to me, that's the easiest decision of my life. That's what I'm doing. I don't care that he's got to get up to speed. His legs, he's been skating. Right? It's just his hands. I'll figure it out. Let's take a quick break. We'll return. We'll get to the pregame show with Walker and Paulson. It's the Gregor Show on Sports 1440, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
Think your credit's not good enough for a new ride? Think again. Go Auto's car loan calculator is here to help. No commitments, no credit hits, just real answers. You tell us a few things, and we'll show you what you can afford. Text credit to 780-777-7777. That's credit to 780 all sevens. Go Auto. We do the math, so you can do the driving.
Did you know the Brick is proudly Canadian owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
Game day sauce.
Buddy, quit rolling up to the bar and looking like it's grade 9 grad and you're wearing your dad's old work suit. Do yourself a favor and call Game Day Suits.
Game Day Suits is Alberta-based and makes fully customizable, made-to-order suits. Perfect for hockey teams, wedding parties, or even the office crew. Book your free consultation at GameDaySuits.ca.
I'm rocking one right now. I look deadly.
You know they can't see you, right?
Okay, Mr. Announcer, you want to go, tough guy?
Game Day Sauce.
Wendy's most important deal of the day has a fresh lineup. Pick any 2 breakfast items for $4. New 4-piece French toast sticks, bacon or sausage wrap, biscuit or English muffin sandwiches, small hot coffee, and more. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Taxes extra.
You're listening to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action at OTR, and they're ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings. Play and score every game day. See more at ontherocks.yag.com.
Before every game this season, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker, exclusively on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, Jason Gregor with you. It is the Titan Supply Oilers pregame show on Sports 1440, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca after a 2-0-1 homestand, very quick homestand. Oilers hit the road for back-to-back games. Tonight in St. Louis, we're an hour away from Oilers and Blues. Tomorrow in Dallas, Calvin Pickard will get the start tonight. All right, so let's get into it. Greg's asked, I walked in, he asked how I was. Sometimes you ask people, hey, how you doing? You don't really want a deep answer, right? Oh, I'm good, buddy. I'm not good, man. I'm not okay. Since we last talked, I'm a different person. I'm still in
the losses impacted you.
Yeah, that Jays. Okay, so we've been through back-to-back Oilers finals. The Jays loss. Imagine if the Oilers hosted Game 7 at home, had a 1-goal lead in the final minute, missed a chance at an empty net, gave up the tying goal in the final minute with the goalie pulled, go to overtime, get a 5-on-3 in overtime, and don't score and lose the cup. That's what this is. I don't know, man. I'm really trying to not let it ruin my life. I got buddies that they're not taking my calls. Like it's bad. That was a really, really tough one.
Oh, it was a tough loss. No,
I don't think I've ever been through a tougher sporting loss.
Yeah, the Jays played really well, and for lots of stretches of that series, like you go back to Game 6, if the ball doesn't get lodged underneath the fence, the straw score the run. Probably. Right? I think there's a really good chance he scores there with his speed off that double by Barger. I don't think he's getting held up at second base.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Right?
But that makes it a one-run game. The question is, does Barger get to third after, rather than the ground rule double? That was a they still had.
Yeah, I don't think Barger's getting a triple out of that.
They
but
still
I think,
had third and second with nobody out.
Yeah,
but,
it's still tough. I thought when I was watching the game with my friends, I just kept saying in the first 4 innings, the Jays stranded so many runners. I'm like, God, they got to score more here. Like because the Dodgers can beat you with big swings, and sadly, that's what happened.
You could do an hour segment on each individual little play. And the one that I can't stop thinking about is the kind of the show bunt, little butcher boy type play from Jimenez. Hits the piss out of the ball. That's in the corner. And it somehow went right to Muncy.
Mm-hmm.
Like right to him at third. Right?
Yeah.
Playing in.
Yeah.
Got all of it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it 5-2 at the time. So it's one of those things where in order to lose that game, like 7 or 8 things have to happen. They have to happen consecutively, right?
Yeah.
And there was the Muncy play. Connor Halley, I know there's been a lot of talk of his lead off or lack thereof, and the secondary.
I saw a lot of baseball guys.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw what's his name,
Whit Merfield. I saw his.
Yeah, and he makes a point, but also,
But I did see somebody counter to say, "Hey,
you're tied,
but it's
losing."
But it's also the guy who was at bat he's had like 1,500 at bats, and he's only ever hit a ball to third base 4 times. So if you're playing the analytics, you could look and say, well, I should be able to take a bigger lead because this guy hitting the ball on a line drive to the third third baseman has happened 4 out of 1,500 at bats or something. It was a crazy number.
And what's the better odds? It's that Varsho is going to get the ball in play, and it's going to be a chopper, right? Or a slow roller, and they're coming home because Varsho is hard to double off. And it was, again, it's one extra step down the line and he's in. If that's Straw instead of Connor Halley, he's probably scoring. I still don't quite know. Like, I thought it was a normal fly out to end the 9th inning, but when you saw Kike, his numbers racing towards the wall,
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to fall in.
Yeah, I watched that play, and everybody was great. I think if the center fielder isn't there, Hernandez still catches it. I know everybody's like, oh, it's a great play by the center fielder. It was because they bumped into each other, but I think Hernandez, if the center fielder isn't there, still catches
but you know why Kike was so shallow? He was also shallow against Jimenez
Yeah.
the night previous, and that's how he doubled up Barger, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was really, really difficult. And then big time from Vlad, right? Like they needed a double. He gets it. They get him to third. They can still tie it.
Oh, I know.
And then of all guys to break your bat and roll over into a double play, it's Kirk. It's tough, man. It was really, really
difficult.
tough.
There's no question. Yeah.
All right. Oilers Blues. St. Louis was a really nice story for a lot of reasons last year. Binnington, we saw what he did at the Four Nations, and then he took off. St. Louis makes the playoffs. Should have beaten Connor Hellebuyck in Winnipeg in a lot of ways.
Hey, talk about a loss that's tough there, man. Holy cow.
That's tough too. And in a lot of ways they did, right? They beat Hellebuyck. Hellebuyck was on the bench when his teammates saved his bacon. Goals from was it Niederreiter or Lowry, and then Cole Perfetti at the end.
Yeah.
And then they score in overtime. So St. Louis is a great story. Thomas breakout year, Jordan Kyrou breakout year. We know what Holloway and Broberg did. This year it's been a struggle. And I'll be honest, I didn't even realize how big of a struggle it's been for this team, scoring, giving up goals. They have had some injuries. I think Jordan Binnington is a fascinating guy because I believe that he could probably go 2-25 and he's still going to be Team Canada starter at the Olympics. Is that not?
Well, I think he's one of the three for sure. But if this keeps going and Logan Thompson keeps doing what he's doing, they'll have no choice. I know that supposedly there's some people on the team, and I'm like, I don't care.
Do you get pre-Olympic games? Like, do you get like a couple exhibition games?
No.
No?
No. You just
practice
roll
a
in
bit?
and you play.
Okay.
At least I don't recall there being any warm-up games at the Olympics. I'm trying to think of 2010.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
You just get in and you play in. Thompson's been really good, right? Like Kevin Woodley actually had the best number that and I want to get the exact number so I don't repeat it incorrectly. Woodley talked about how the top goalies facing a minimum of 100 scoring chances in the entire NHL are all Canadian right now. Logan Thompson is first. Tristan Jarry is second, and Jet Greaves is third.
Right.
So, and this is minimum 100 scoring chances. So it's not guys who played one game or 2 games. So 100 scoring chances. You know what? Their top 3 are Canadian right now. It's a wild stat. I loved it.
I think Binnington could allow 10 goals a game every night, and he's still going to be Canada's number one.
Yeah. Well,
right. Maybe the leash is shorter, but there's just no way he's not.
Yeah. The leash is, I agree with you. The leash is shorter, and you might be right that he goes, but it's I'll say this, if his numbers, because Woodley outlined the fact that his expected save percentage is .896 and he's down to like .864. Like it's not like his environment is that
he
bad.
He wasn't a house on fire before the Four Nations last year.
Well, no, it's pretty good because remember Montgomery came in for 60 games and the Blues had like the 6th best goals against and 6th best record in the NHL that time. So, and Binnington was good. He wasn't at 860, right? Binnington's numbers, if you go look at from when he took over, which I think was like November 21st, if my memory's correct, give or take, somewhere around there. And you go from November 21st to like February 10th, whenever they broke for Four Nations, Binnington's numbers were at least like decent, respectable. They weren't off the charts, but they weren't in the ditch. Like he ranks 66th out of 70 goalies right now in the NHL. And that's guys who might have only played one game. That's everybody. So that's right. It's not a good number.
And it's funny because I've never been a huge Binnington defender, but I think a lot of people are probably like me. What you saw at the Four Nations, and we don't beat the States in overtime without.
Oh no, he was huge.
My mindset shifted on Binnington for sure.
Yeah, but I think the challenge in evaluating is balancing what you did last year to what's going on right now. And that's going to be the challenge.
Correct. You can't just take the same team, and
no.
I do think
that was
I
the
think
mistake in 06 to right
100%. And I do think Hyman will get a chance to make this team, because this was a similar thing too last year. Hyman was coming back from injury, and right when they announced the team, Hyman was getting back. He was left off, and then what did Hyman do? I think he scored like 15 goals in 20 games.
Yeah, he had a slow start last year.
Yeah. I would guess that Hyman gets a good chance to make this team. I think they'll want Tom Wilson on this team.
Oh,
again,
yeah. I would play Tom
Some
Wilson.
guys got to come out, of course, but
well, I think connecting coming out isn't a big out. I don't think that's an overly hard decision. There'll be a few other guys. Like I think Well, Armstrong's on record as saying they're probably thinking there might be 25% turnover. So
yeah,
that would make sense.
Andrew Walker, Jason Gregor. It is the Titan Supply pregame show here on Sports 1440. The Weiss Johnson text line is open 1-833-401-1440. Lots to get to over the next hour. We will chat in about 15, 20 minutes from now with Landon Ferraro, our former NHL'er, our game day analyst, brought to you by Ed's Auto Salvage. Your chance to win on the River Cree over-under contest. And I'm just looking right now because we're just going to do a straight-up classic. Everything you read, the Blues are giving up goals. The Oilers, I think they're tightening up a little bit, but everything you read, this could be a high-scoring game. So the natural over-under, if you are a bettor, is set at 6. So we're going to just do that for the River Cree over-under. Will there be actually we'll say 6.5. All right?
I have to go.
We'll say 6. We'll say 6.5 because we're not giving out pushes. So 6.5 over or under for the River Cree over-under, where you can catch all your favorite sports, including UFC and boxing, live on the big screens at Tap 25 and in the center bar. Visit rivercreeresort.com. Will there be more than 6.5 or less than 6.5 goals scored tonight in this game? Give us a text on the Weiss Johnson text line. If you're on the right side of this, you get entered for the $100 River Cree gift card, redeemable at hotel, restaurants, and the gift shop as well. Jack Roslovic. The day they signed him, so I'll recap Donovan and my talks on this guy. Didn't mind the signing given the price. It's a bit of a free ad. Was I totally convinced that this guy's going to be the right fit for what the Oilers are trying to do, and that's go deep in the playoffs and win a Stanley Cup? Nah, not especially. It wasn't a great start for Roslovic, and at the same time, he didn't have a training camp. So, you got to approach this with a grain of salt. So I guess what I'm saying, Greg's, is that a lot of me does not want to like Jack Roslovic. Like, a lot of me wants to be validated. I don't see a fit. I've really liked him in the last 4 or 5 games. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, he's been one of the Oilers' best players. And, does that mean he fades in the second half and fades in the playoffs as he's been wont to do in his NHL career? Big part of me doesn't want to like Jack Roslovic, and I've really, really liked him over the last 5-6 games.
Oh, how can you not? Like, his speed's been noticeable. He beats guys one-on-one in open ice, which doesn't happen very often. He got to the right position. He knows how to think the game, I find. He's got a good shot. And him, Podkolzin, and Draisaitl, since they've been put together, has been absolutely lights out.
Mm-hmm.
They've outscored the opposition 5-0, outshot them 31-19. He played, coaches liked him. He played 22 and a half minutes in that game. I know there was overtime, but still, it's what he played. And I like that he was on the ice in overtime, because I thought the other game in overtime, I was like, I put him ahead to Andrew Mangiapane all day in overtime for me, just because he's a much better skater and he beats guys one-on-one. They have a different style. So I actually like Roslovic. I don't have much Roslovic, excuse me. I don't have much issue with him at all. And I think he could turn out to be a steal when you consider he's only $1.50 on the cap.
Yeah. And, it's interesting. It's been apples and oranges too, but Tomasic comes over and you want to give him a look, and it would be great if he turned out to be a bit of a player. And there's a player in there somewhere, probably bottom sixer, but they put him in Hyman's spot in the power play, and he's big body and he gets some chances, and maybe this could work. And then Roslovic gets like one game, goes to the net, hard on his bottom hand. He already has done something that Tomasic hasn't done in like 10 games. And that's totally beautifully finish a nice feed at the side of the net. So not necessarily an indictment of Tomasic, but yeah, this guy is a proven point getter and power play guy and goal scorer at the NHL level. So I guess maybe we shouldn't be too surprised. But the thing is about a streaky player, and I know fans and coaches sometimes both get frustrated by streaky players. But you know what a streaky player means? It means he has good streaks as well, right? And it's the same with any frustrating player, even if it's Evan Bouchard. Yeah, there's going to be some bottom of the barrel moments, but like Connor said the other day, when he's right, his best is among the very best. And I look at Roslovic too. He might disappear at some point, but right now when he's going hot, I don't think you can get him on the ice enough.
Yeah, no, I've liked his game a lot. And the thing I've liked about him was I think he's more attention to detail defensively, which helps a lot, right? You can't just, well, I guess if you scored a lot of goals, they wouldn't care, but it's not like he scores that much that you can just say, hey, he's, he can be a missing link defensively. I've actually I think his awareness defensively has been pretty good.
And look, with this team too, like no one's asking you to be Bob Gainey, like anybody.
No.
Be on the right side of the puck,
Mhm.
work hard, right? Don't cheat. You have enough skill on this team that, again, like everyone looks at the power play and McDavid and Draisaitl. For the Oilers to win, to actually win, the calling card of this team has to be we don't give up anything, because they'll always score enough. Eventually, I know that the 5-on-5 offense has been lacking so far, but they didn't score last year. And then when they really started to take that turn, starting in about game 3 against LA, obviously, and rolling through Vegas and rolling through Dallas, their calling card was that they didn't give up anything, and they got decent goaltending, and they scored when they had to.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's what you need. So no, I've liked him a lot, actually. I think he's been a really solid addition to the team. He's probably been, for me, I think of all the new faces, he's been the one that's been the most impactful.
We have a new sponsor in the pregame show. It is the Hairline Injury Report, brought to you by Dr. Vance Elliott, the world leader in hair restoration. I'm trying not to look at you when I do this liner.
Buddy, when you have perfect head, you don't need any hair.
Visit drvanceelliott.com for a free consultation today. The consultation's free. I'm just saying. It's free.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Dude, it's I don't need hair. You couldn't pay me to have to comb my hair every day. Like once you go that long without it, like I could see if I was 25 again, right? Then you would go for it. But
yeah, no, you're not. Yeah, you're not, it's not like you're not playing the field.
Even if I was, there's nothing worse than the guy. Like when the dream's over, you just gotta accept it. It's totally fine. Too many people, like I see guys, they got the power alleys going. I'm like, dude, it looks terrible. Right? No one's telling you it's looking good at this point. Looks terrible. Just live with it. Move on.
So I bring up the injury report because Zach Hyman, we all kind of hoped he'd be back, and they're being a little cautious extra week. So are we thinking for Zach Hyman on the injury report? By the way, it's just him. It's Kasperi Kapanen. Obviously, it's Alex Regula. Hyman on Saturday.
No, I don't think so. That was best case scenario. Last week that would be the earliest he's back. So I don't think so. Knobloch, even today when asked about him, because Janmark and him are both on the trip, which is a good sign.
Janmark, yeah.
Right? It's a good sign. But he mentioned how he's like, well, I'm hoping to have them back. I think he's trying to be cautious that I'm hoping to have them back for our next road trip, which means they play Saturday and Monday at home, then they go on the road trip. So maybe they play one of those home games, but
right.
When he says we'd like to have him, I'm confident we'll have him before our next road trip, means he's still not confident they'll have him for Saturday.
So
they might though, because they have a few practice days, right? Thursday, Friday.
Right. And then not a big homestand so far this year for the Oilers too. And it felt even it was funny. You've seen all the they're 4-0-2. They have yet to lose a game in regulation at home. It's their best home start in 25 years. And then again, this is not to be cynical or too negative, but I was looking back through all the games, right? Like 4-0-2. So yeah, they've gotten points and everything. The Calgary shootout loss was a missed point for sure. Vancouver was a 60-minute effort. And then you look at all the other ones. I mean, Utah, they got down in that game. They scored 5 in the second period. They weren't particularly good. Montreal, they got a little lucky on that one too. The Chicago win, I guess I didn't see much of it. I'll be honest. I was watching the Jays game. Some would say, well, you get to overtime against Chicago. That's a team you should beat handily. It's funny, right? 4-0-2. And I don't think they've been particularly good on home ice yet, other than the Vancouver game and stretches of Utah.
Yeah. No. Well, dude, Edmonton's have been okay at home, but Edmonton has yet to play. Vancouver, their second home game of the year, they dominate.
Yeah.
Other than that, look at Chicago last game. Chicago had shot them 25 on 5. Edmonton's power play is right now. Guess what? Shocking. It's back to number 1 in the NHL at 33%. it started kind of slowish. Like it's been dominant here for the last few weeks. And that's to me the best part of their team right now. Their penalty kill has been really good, but their 5-on-5 scoring is still
Now also
an issue.
Keep in mind when your power play is number one, where are you drawing penalties? You're drawing penalties 5-on-5, right? So like that factors in to me.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I think it factors in on everything. But if you look at the order still, if you look at their expected goals 5-on-5, it's not like they're creating a ton of chances or getting bad luck. They've scored 23. Their expected is 25. Like, to me, they're not doing nearly like McDavid has been kind of a ghost 5-on-5. If we look at it seriously, right? Like now it's crazy because on penalty kill, him and Draisaitl have been perfect. Like they haven't given up, but there's only, I looked it up. I think there's 8 forwards in the NHL that have killed 15 minutes and haven't been on for 1 goal against on the penalty kill. Like that's pretty good because, on each penalty kill, you might get 40 seconds. Maybe the first unit guys will get, that second final shift or whatever. But so it's not like he's playing poorly, but there has yet to be a game in 13 games, Andrew, where I think you would leave the rink saying, man, McDavid dominated tonight.
No, yeah, there's been spurts. Obviously the Utah game, he started to turn that game on its ear a little bit. But yeah, listen, he has 2 goals 5-on-5, 1 goal 5-on-5.
1 goal 5-on-5.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, he's getting points. And at the end of the day, hey, points are all that matter. You want to help your team win. And his point totals have really shot up here as of late. And that the good news is he's not, I guess anything's possible. It would be very odd for him to remain at a 4 points out of every 13 games 5-on-5 pace, which puts him at 25 5-on-5 points in the season. He's never had lower than 50 except his rookie season when he missed 40 games, right? His lowest points per 60 was 2.62. He's at 1.07 at 5-on-5. Like, it's mind-blowing. I know people say, well, it's only 13 games. Well, go look at any 13-game stretch in his career. This has never happened.
Points-wise, I feel McDavid kind of mirrors the Oilers, right? Because like I was just saying, they're 4-0-2 at home. And you could make the case, and I've heard this. They say, hey, that's the difference between like a good team and a bad team. Good teams, they're not on the top of their game. They're not playing particularly well,
and they win.
They're still getting points.
Okay,
right? And you look at McDavid, for instance. He has been below what we expect of him. Mark Scheifele has been out of his mind. Maybe the best player in the NHL. He's got 20 points. McDavid has 17.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like Scheifele's been out of his skull, and McDavid's been just okay, and they're 3 points apart. Like it's a very high floor for the Oilers, and it's a very high floor for Connor McDavid.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I don't discount it. It's not. It's at least something that has to be discussed. Doesn't mean Connor McDavid's terrible. Doesn't mean he's a bad contract. Far from it. It's just. It's odd, especially because he's playing a ton of minutes, right? It's, because we've had people texting, hey, he's saving himself. He knows it's the Olympics. I'm like, okay, but is he saving himself if he's playing more minutes this year than he played last year? Right? Like that's another factor. Like at some point,
I don't think anybody's thinking of the Olympics. Maybe a bubble guy that really wants to play.
Like Connor McDavid's making the Olympics. What are we talking about here? Like, I don't think Connor McDavid is going into games being like, I'm holding off, what I want to do, because here's the truth. When I look at how he's played, he has had great chances in the slot and just not shot. I don't think he's like, I'm not going to shoot here because I'm going to make the Olympics. It's not going through his head at all. McDavid is just, for his standards, which is incredibly high, right? Like he gets a point tonight. He's the 4th quickest player to 4th fewest games played to 1,100 points. And he's 1 game behind Mike Bossy, right? In the high scoring 80s. He's at 726 games. Bossy did it in 725, right? Lemieux and Gretzky are obviously on different levels, but nobody else. So this guy is elite of the elite. There's no question about it. That's why when he has 4 points, 5-on-5 in 13 games, to me, it's a talking point.
One more note before we break. I wanted to, and I'm sure you've discussed it too. So the last 2 overtime games, Saturday was Chicago, obviously, and the game before
Rangers
was the Rangers. I was at the Rangers game. Decidedly different strategy, and the Rangers game, which I sat there. I was in the stands, And basically for 50 minutes, all I talked about was, man, the Rangers are bad. And then next time you turn up and somehow they won the game. But in overtime, so Oilers start, obviously, and with the puck. And, I mean, they had a 4-on-3 power play as well. But, for me, if I'm the Oilers, you win the draw, and then McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard, you're playing around to get at least one great chance before you change possession and go off. Your next trio, whoever that is, to me, your job is not to rush down the ice and try to score and trade chance for chance. Your job is to keep possession and get those other guys back on the ice. And it was the Rangers game where, there was a loose puck and Mangiapane had it. Then Mangiapane's racing up 1-on-2. And I'm sitting there, what are you doing? And then sure enough, Rangers get the possession back and they never give it up. The Chicago game was beautifully strategized, and maybe not strategized, but executed between Podkolzin and Roslovic and Nuge and Nurse. There was no chances taken, right? They cycled it. There wasn't a little bit of room, move out of the zone. And then finally, while Chicago can't change and the big boys come on the ice, it's over, right? It's over. So to me, that is the way you play overtime if you're the Edmonton Oilers, not the Rangers game.
Yeah, well, it's funny because it was the McDavid trio that got scored on in the Ranger game, though, right?
Or
Bouchard, McDavid, and Draisaitl. They were all on the ice when they gave up the goal.
Right. I guess it was watching Mangiapane race down one on two that drove me crazy. Yeah. And then but Chicago was perfect. Like you get those guys so they can't change, and then McDavid and Draisaitl over the boards and game's over.
How we should put in over and back in overtime. You can't cross once you cross center. You can't roll back again. I hate it.
Center or the blue?
No, center ice.
Yeah,
just like midcourt in the NBA.
Yeah, over and back.
I would put over and back into 3-on-3 because I find too many teams they have it and then they exit the zone. We're watching nothing for 25 seconds.
Well, and if you're watching other teams, it's worse.
Oh,
much worse.
Lots of teams do. Yeah. It's terrible. Yeah. I don't like it at all. So hopefully that's something I'd like to see change.
All right, we're getting up until 6:00. Obviously, Blues and Oilers drop the puck at 6:30. On the other side, it'll be Landon Ferraro, former NHL'er, our game day analyst, brought to you by Ed's Auto Salvage. This is the Titan Supply pregame show right here on Sports 1440.
Pre-matchups are brought to you by Napa